He'll go for victory 201 today in a rivalry that dates back to 1898. It's the Spartans of Michigan State versus the Wolverines of Michigan. We're live from Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Michigan State Spartans coming on to the field here at Michigan Stadium. Ago, Michigan State winning here 19-7. George Perles each year has improved his football team. Last year winning 7 games. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Bender along with the coach Ara Parseghian. Ara, what kind of a setback is this going to be now for this Michigan State team? That was a bitter loss to Iowa last week, 24-21.
Gary, my own personal experience as a coach, one of the toughest losses to overcome is when it's very close or you could have won in the last few seconds. You spend the whole week replaying it. If, a zillion ifs. George Perles said they worked hard this week, but they were very quiet, which implies a frustration that may be evidenced here with a greater intensity in this ball game.
On the other side now, Bo Schembechler has told us Michigan must win with their defense.
Well, I think he has every right to put the burden over on the defensive side because, number one, Michigan State, and I've seen them twice already this year, great receivers in Mark Ingram and Andre Rison. Tremendous receivers. The quarterback, Urema, has a 67% completion average, and on top of that, Michigan is giving up 250 yards per game through the air. So that's why Schembechler is putting the heat back on the defense.
Ara, we talked about the bitter setback. It came down to the last play with 1:32 to go, and Dave Urema on a 1st and goal tried to roll right. What happened on this play is he forced the ball in. Ken Sims of the Iowa Hawkeyes came up with the interception, and Iowa was able to pick up the victory. But now, a week later, as we see Michigan coming onto the field, we have discovered additional information about that particular play, Aaron.
Right, I think Dave Urema was unjustly criticized. They wouldn't have been in the position that they were without him. He did use bad judgment on the pass. But taking another look, and you know, those ifs I was talking about, taking another look at this play, if you'll see in the circle, is Richard Gusevich, the tight end. Over him is the outside linebacker of Iowa. If the official would have seen this flagrant face mask violation, watch here, as the outside linebacker throws Gusevich down. Look at that face mask violation. The officials missed it. Had the officials seen it, the ball would have been moved half the distance to the goal line, and 1st and goal for Michigan State. And you can see how the standings, the conference, and the ultimate champion, how one play Iowa was delighted with, and of course you can see a missed call, what effect that will have on the Big Ten championship.
Okay, Ara, wrap it up. Capsulize it. What do you expect to see?
Well, I think in this ball game, I don't think either team is going to be able to establish a running game because they're both very good defensively. I think this game is going to be won through the air by either Harbaugh or Urema, or let's count the turnovers as the game progresses. They'll have a big influence on it.
So for the 69th consecutive time, they have a sellout here at Michigan Stadium. The meeting, the 79th. The captains are at the center of the field. We'll be back with a kickoff in a moment. CBS Sports presents college football live from Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's the Michigan State Spartans versus the Michigan Wolverines. Today's game is sponsored by your Toyota dealer in the all-new Camry sedan and wagon. Who could ask for anything more? Castrol, the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars. MCI, communications for the next 100 years. And by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken. We do chicken right.
Those who have waited and waited can now see the light. For Toyota introduces a car close to perfection. The all-new 1987 Toyota Camry. Camry gets more power to pass from a new 16-valve fuel-efficient engine, a quiet, more comfortable cabin for 5, and more of the Toyota quality that has made Camry the most trouble-free new car, domestic or import, sold in America.
Who could ask for anything more? Toyota.
You're far from home, far from everything you know, but you're not alone. A new service from American Express is with you every step of the way. Announcing Global Assist. Now you can get medical and legal help in the U.S. and the world with one call, toll-free, 24 hours a day.
Hello, American Express.
Just one more reason to have the American Express card, or to get one.
We're MCI. Thousands of people pulling together to give you the best in the communications business. MCI competes with fiber optics, in place now, for superior call quality and data transmission. Our competition is good. We
Introduce you to the third member of our broadcast team. Out there somewhere is Pat O'Brien.
Thank you, Gary. Out here somewhere, indeed, in the middle of 105,000 people. I was trying to figure out how to describe how big Michigan Stadium is, and then it dawned on me that there are 40,000 more people in this stadium than in the town I grew up in South Dakota. The last time they had less than 100,000 people here, a former Michigan football player by the name of Gerald Ford was in the White House. That's 1975. Through the years, they have seen it all here. In 1902, 119-0, Michigan. 3 times it's been a 0-0 tie. But this is one of those games where you throw out the record book, throw out the stats. This is for the bragging rights of Michigan. And so, for the 79th time, it is the Battle of Michigan, and you've got the best seat in the house. Let's go see some football.
Today is absolutely spectacular as far as weather is concerned. It's been raining throughout the week, but not today. 61 degrees at kickoff time. Michigan State won the toss. They deferred. Michigan will be receiving. This is Greg McGundry, number 23, who will do the punting as well as kicking off. Going back deep is Holloway and Kolazar. Kolazar is number 40. 2 years ago, the Spartans winning here, 19-7, losing last year at home 31-0. Kolazar, and he's not going to bring it up. So offensively from the 20-yard line, that gives the chance to look at Jim Harbaugh. He is so good with a broken play.
And they have a great group of receivers in Higgins, Kolesar, and Jeff Brown, and Harbaugh's really hit them.
And the thing that they're glad to have back, Arab, not only Gerald White, but Jamie Morris, who was out last week with a knee injury. Their offensive line is huge. Averages 286 pounds up front. You can see what Harbaugh did. That's the first Wolverine in history to throw for over 300 yards.
Isn't that incredible with the great traditions that Michigan has that they've never, ever thrown for over 300 yards?
Wiltshire is in the backfield. Morris will not open up the series. He's joined there by White. Harbaugh off to Wiltshire. Wiltshire for 7-8 yards. Thomas Wiltshire, a track man, an NCAA champion of the hurdles. Has those people up front. They are big. 286. Huzar has been very steady. They like their tackles and center.
And John Batali, they moved from quick guard over to center. It's been a great move for this offensive team.
And the guy that's so big up there is the next man you're going to see. Jumbo Elliott. He weighs 306 pounds.
Just a little guy.
Yeah. Second down, a long yard to go. This time they come out in the wishbone. You'll expect to see Michigan run that quite a bit today. Give comes to the near side, a first down, as Wiltshire picks up the first down for Michigan to the 32-yard line.
Moore did a nice job. The outside linebacker came off what looked like was going to be a big play there.
Let's look defensively now at Michigan State. Bergen's a junior college transfer. Their next guy is their best player up front.
I've seen him the last 2 ball games, and I'm really impressed with Mark Nichols.
There's their elder statesman, and David Wolf, and then Buddy is the brother, or son, I should say, of Ed Buddy, the former All-American. You just mentioned Tim Moore.
He was a great one. Shane Buller, the leading tackler on the team.
And Stradley is starting in place of Kurt Larson. They want him in there for his pass-protecting ability. First down now from the 32.
Big splits in there.
Harbaugh rolling out. Blocked by Gerald White. White couldn't hang on. It'll bring up a second down. This Michigan State secondary, they'll fly around back there. They're a young secondary. Sophomore John Miller.
They played very well during the course of the year. They don't like to put them in man-to-man, Gary. They like to zone off, and they do it very well.
Bobbitt had an interception last week, and then Todd Crum, he had 2 against Notre Dame. We understand we have an upset in the making. That would be a shocker if Cincinnati hangs on there.
I think they did it once before.
Jamie Morris now has come into the backfield as they go to the wishbone. Second down, 10 from the 32. Harbaugh hits Kolesar. 23-yard pickup on the play, and Michigan is in the Michigan State end of the field at the 45-yard line.
Michigan State was in a double zone. Kolesar ran outside of the cornerback. Altobelli could not get there before he caught the ball. Good route. Excellent pass protection down the inside, and it's from the wishbone. You see the pass protection. Look at this line working there. No one is close.
Harbaugh coming into this game hitting 65% of his passes. Now has a first down at the 45-yard line. Wiltshire with the ball for 5, 6, almost another first down, and I believe he's got it. He's inside the 35 as Paul Bobbitt from the free safety spot was over there, and that's a first down run of 11 yards.
They're favoring it to the left side. They've got good blocking on it, good reading by the running back. Let's take a look and see. So you see him read it to the outside there. Excellent running there.
Wiltshire has that track speed. He can run as well as anybody. He's been hurt a lot, but now healthy, picks up the first down. He has 3 carries for 23 yards. Jamie Morris checks back in. First down now for the Wolverines. It's the 34 as we have a delay. They're having trouble with the chains over there. They got tangled up in the Michigan State bench. Now they've got the chain gang ready, and we're ready to go. George Perlis, the former defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Every year his teams have been getting better.
They really have, and they've been defensive oriented. They get down, teams get down to the 20-yard line, and they really tighten up and play great goal line defense.
First down now at the 34 of Michigan State. Kolesar in motion to the bottom of the screen. Harbaugh given to Jamie Morris to the 30, and Morris will be knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Dean Altobelli over there. And Michigan is really mixing it up well.
Well, Morris missed the last couple of ball games with a sprained knee, but he seems to be doing quite well. There's a ground level shot of it. See, Morris, just pure speed. It looked like the defender had a little leverage on him, but he turned the corner and picked up excellent yardage. Michigan is running the ball better than I expected.
Line of scrimmage now will be the 27 of Michigan State. Second down, 3 yards to go. Greg McMurtry, number 1, outstanding freshman wide receiver, in now for Michigan. Morris again. And Morris close to the first down as he crosses the 25-yard line and shoved back. John Miller made the stop.
Gerald White got an excellent block, number 22. And Morris decided if he'd have stayed inside right off of White's block, he would have picked up much more yardage.
Here, I'm always impressed that a guy like Morris at 5'7" can play, but to his advantage sometimes. You can't see behind that big offensive line when he's running with the ball.
Yeah, he's small, but he's mighty, I'll tell you. He's very strong, he's very quick. And of course, all you have to do is look at the statistics. The average is 5.1 yards every time he carries it.
Third down, less than a yard to go.
Look at the split between the guard and the tackle.
From the wishbone. Straight ahead, Bob Perryman, the fullback. And that'll be a first down for Michigan. This is a new wrinkle this year, Era, the wishbone for Bo Schembechler.
They're using a lot of formations trying to confuse. Now look at this split here between the guard and the tackle. It's a huge split. But Bergen, number 45, comes down to the inside, slants to the inside, closes the hole, does an excellent job.
Era, why the big split?
I think they're trying to reduce the defenses, to remove them from one another, but Bergen came right back down to the inside, did an excellent job in beating Elliott.
First down as Perriman picks it up. Set up now at the 22 of Michigan State. Ken Higgins in motion. Harbaugh to roll that way. He is so good scrambling around. Finding additional time. End zone. Broken up. Nice play by Todd Crum. Ken Higgins, the intended receiver.
What a great job by Todd Crum. Looked like Harbaugh had him wide open. And you'll see right here that all the protection in the world, you'll see from this ground level view, we'll roll it right here, we'll see that Harbaugh has excellent protection on this play. And it's a broken play in a sense because Harbaugh is flushed back out. He runs to the right here. Now you'll see, it appears that he's wide open. Now watch Todd Crum right there break clear back and knock the ball down. What a marvelous job there.
He had two
Excellent job.
interceptions earlier this year against Notre Dame. Good recovery that time. Harbaugh on second down 10. Over the middle, complete. Fullback Perriman, and Perriman will advance to the 16-yard line. Going to bring up third down. On that last play, Jamie Morris threw an outstanding block to give Harbaugh additional time.
Well, that's one of the impressive things on this drive, I think, Gary, is that the fact that Michigan State has not been able to put much pressure on Harbaugh in the passing game. And that may be a very telling thing as this game progresses.
Paul Yokes is checked in, 6'8". He has been hurt with a groin problem. Coming up at halftime with Jim Nantz, the Prudential College Football Report. Third down now. 3rd and 4. Harbaugh again with time. Good block is thrown. End zone broken up.
You see, that's the thing that George Perles fears the most. Harbaugh scrambling. He gets so much time, but the defense did a marvelous job of staying in their zones and moving to where Harbaugh was. It was a nice job there by the defense, but Harbaugh had an awful lot of time. They've got to get more pressure on him, and I would think that George Perles right there would be a little concerned.
Pat Moons now will come in and attempt a field goal. This will be a 33-yarder. Moons is 6 of 10 this year, longest of 37. Holding will be Monty Robbins. Borowski with the snap. It's a funny-looking kick, but it makes it. Never did really start turning over, but he was able to nail it anyway. So Moons has given Michigan a 3-0 lead. 11-14 to go in the first quarter.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. They're high.
Take a look at that play that was broken up in the end zone.
Watch Jamie Morris right here at the right halfback spot. He'll check and then come right on through, wind up open here. Number 22, Stradley, will try to cover him. If Harbaugh had seen him, they could have had a touchdown. Watch him. Slow blocks, then goes on through. Stradley right there has a hold of him. He breaks loose. Now he breaks for the end zone. And Harbaugh's going out to his left. You see Jamie is wide open there, but Harbaugh could not see him.
Harbaugh is so dangerous out of the pocket, He's getting too much time. That's got to concern George Perles because he seemingly senses where everybody is on the football field.
Very good point, Gary. I think that they're going to have to take some chances, and I'm talking about the Spartans because they've got to get heat on Harbaugh, but they take the risk. When you do that, you've got to take the risk of playing man-to-man coverage, and they just, Nick Saban, the defensive coordinator of Michigan State, just doesn't feel that they have the kind of corner speed to do that against the wide receivers of Michigan.
Mike Gillette now kicking off for the Michigan Wolverines. Bringing it out will be Craig Johnson, who will be starting for Lorenzo White, and he is tripped up. Good reaction that time by Michigan, and the ball will be spotted at the 21-yard line. Alan Bishop on the stop. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, Charlie Waters will talk about a 3-0 game in favor of Michigan. The Spartans with the ball for the first time from the 21. Straight ahead football, and that's Bobby Morse, the fullback. Morse missed last week because of a shoulder injury. He gives them tremendous leadership on this team.
And also the Spartans gave the Wolverines a little different look that time, and they popped right up the middle. They're almost, well, they got 9 yards, almost 10.
9 to be exact. Second down, a yard to go. Be interesting to see what Craig Johnson can do instead of Lorenzo White. White out with a knee injury. He'll be back, they think, next week. Here is Johnson. Johnson's got a first down. Out to the 35-yard line. There's a lot said about Lorenzo White, but Johnson's the fastest running back they have.
And strongest, for that matter. He's a good back.
Looking at their team, there's Urema, who had that unfortunate interception, but he's been playing so well.
And two great receivers in Andre Rison and Mark Ingram. They both can run and both can catch.
And Sargent, he's very strong, good blocker. We just mentioned the leadership of Bobby Morse.
And this back I like very much. I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised, the Spartan fans are, with his performance.
Only concern they have, he has a tendency to fumble. From the 36, here is Johnson. Good reaction that time by Michigan. In particular, Andy Moeller, number 49, their leading tackler, and the son of the assistant head coach, Garrett. There's Andy Moeller.
Well, this was an intimidating, awesome defense last year, and Moeller, the coach, the defensive coordinator, thinks they can be just as good. Harris stepped right on around his block. Now you can see the swarming defenders come right in there and stop that. Willingham right there, 39, cleaning up.
Second down, 11 yards to go. The defense a year ago gave up only 8 points a game. This year, 17 and a half. But as Moeller said, he thinks they can get better. Urema on the screen to Morse. Morse has the first down to the 50-yard line. 14-yard pickup. And that negates your rush a little bit.
Sure does. They perfectly set up screen. And Bobby Morris, obviously healthy after having that shoulder injury. Let's take another look at it here. Bobby Morris is right there at fullback. Will slip out there for the screen. And it's well executed by Urema. Screens are how you do it is very important. Now see, Morris slips that block, turns, gets, great block out there by 74, which is Greg Houle. He set that play up.
From the 50 on a first down, Morse crosses into the Michigan into the field to the 47-yard line. Well, let's leave Michigan Stadium for a moment. Let's go to New York for an update on Penn State. Here's Jim Nance. Hey, Jim, so they may avert that big upset. From the 47 now, Michigan State has a second down, 8 yards to go. 3-0 Michigan. Uremus rolling out, throwback, and that play had outstanding possibilities, and Johnson could not hang on.
Well set up. They faked to the field and then slipped the tailback off to the short side, and all he had to do was catch the football. Didn't get it done. There it is. Look at this. Look at that. They got a nice setup there. Tata, number 61, leading, and another blocker downfield. Oh, boy.
His first start, his first day in the sun, and that's not what he wanted to do, is toss a pass like that.
That's right.
Third down, 8. Urema gets it off to Morse again, and he's going to be short of the first down. Peter Herron made a fine open field tackle, number 35. He's the guy that blocked the punt last year against Michigan State. They really got the Wolverines off and running. Fourth down, Michigan State will have to punt the ball.
Peter Herron's did a nice job, because if Bobby Morris would have made him miss right there, he could have picked up the first down. He's a great athlete. Matter of fact, he was all-state in high school at 3 different positions.
They say he's an outside linebacker with strong safety techniques. That's a pretty good combination. Colazar is back. Greg Montgomery, one of the outstanding punters in the nation, will kick this one. And he hit it high. And it's going to go out of bounds in the vicinity of the 15-yard line. So Michigan will have the football for the second time. The Wolverines in this classic leading it by 3. A lot of tradition you might not know about is that the final practice before a game, he always runs a play, a special play. Here's Schembechler lateraling off. Now watch this. He catches the ball. I tell you, a lot of people think Bo is just one of these ornery guys. He never has any fun. He's always yelling at everybody. But he's enjoying life, isn't he?
He really is. You know, I was looking at the stats. The man won 96 ball games and lost 10 in the 70s, the decade of the 70s, which is incredible.
From the 17 is where Michigan will have it. They have a 3-0 lead. 7:53 to go in the first quarter. Harbaugh and Wiltshire will spin out to the 23-yard line. Wiltshire has good size to go with that speed. As we mentioned, he was the NCAA champion in the 55-meter high hurdle. Tremendous breakaway speed, and the thing that's good about him, is a lot of your track men don't hit up tough like he does. He'll take it to you.
That's what Bo said. He'll hit in there hard. He's not afraid to take the shots, and he's not that big. You know, he's a guy that's 188 pounds, but he's got the speed and the toughness.
He comes out. Jamie Morris replaces him. White's the fullback. Colazar in motion on a 2nd and 5. Jamie Morris trying to get wide. John Buddy is able to get him. Buddy, 87, the sophomore out of Kansas City, Missouri, with a fine open field tackle. Let's go to Pat O'Brien down alongside the field.
Gary, just before the game, I was in the Michigan State locker room, and I have to tell you that George Perlis was the best one I've ever heard in a locker room. He talked about the disappointing Iowa loss last week, and he said, we've had one hell of a week. He said, I've watched you guys suffer all week. Today's the day to heal the suffering. He said, you're the luckiest guys in the world to be playing in this contest. And then he said, I've never wanted a game as badly as this one. So we'll see. Let's go back upstairs.
I think Pat's ready to play after listening to that.
Pat, you never heard me, Pat.
Third down 2 now for the Wolverines. Straight ahead comes Perryman. Close. Yes, it is. Perryman is the guy that likes to get in there on the short yardage. 6 foot, 226-pounder senior out of Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts. It is the first down for Michigan.
Well, they come right out in the bone and take a look at it ground level and just give the fullback the ball straight ahead, and he gets enough of the yardage there. He did a good job. The thing that Bo wants to do is to use multiple formations, a lot of formations, so that the defense, which is so well coached by George Perlis, cannot anchor in on any one specific thing. Now, here they come out with a slot.
You see the time left in the first quarter. First down now to 28. Jamie Morris. And Michigan State deployed themselves very well defensively. Tim Moore in particular, number 42. They think the Moore's in the same mold as the Carl Banks and the Anthony Bells who played before him.
Well, I like him. I think he's been an outstanding player. He's got 4.6 speed, and he's about 220 pounds, and he has a good sense for the ball. I've been impressed with him in the games where he's done.
St. John's is about 20 miles from Lansing, and Bo admitted he thought he was too small in high school and didn't recruit him.
Yes, exactly right. Well, we all make mistakes, I'll tell you.
You never did, though, right?
Oh, I made a ton of them.
Second down 8 now from the 30. Paul Jokic has come in. You can't miss him. He's standing at 6'8" on the near side. Harbaugh with excellent protection, and behind Jamie Morris. Morris can't hang on. Pretty good coverage that time. You see Shane Bolin there, John Buddy. And Harbaugh now 2 of 6 for 29 yards.
You see Jokic right here, and you see right there the wide receiver, and they bring the third receiver into this, but he drops the ball. They fake, and then Jamie breaks through from the eye. The ball is there, maybe just slightly behind him. Been a little tough catch, I guess.
Third down 8. McMurtry has checked in, replacing Kolazar. McMurtry is number 1. Split to the near side along with Jokic. From the 30-yard line. Harbaugh clearing over the middle is Higgins. Higgins has the first down catch to the 44.
Boy, that was a nice throw. Beautiful throw by Harbaugh. Higgins was split out clear to the wide side here and comes all the way under, and it's a tough throw by Harbaugh. Watch it. You can see both the wide people driving the defenders off. It's man-to-man underneath, and zone deep is the coverage. But you see that Crum could not stay with Higgins. He has great hands. Got 8 balls last week for 165 yards against Wisconsin.
An outstanding student. He has an A-plus average at Michigan. First down now for the 44. On the option is Harbaugh. He's going to keep it. And he's close to another first down. The ball is fumbled, but I believe Michigan has recovered.
That was a great block by Jamie Morris, I believe, at the left halfback spot that made that play go.
Gerald White came up with the football. It's going to be a first down for Michigan.
Great block. Set it off for Harbaugh, though. The recovery was very important.
13-yard pickup. One thing you like about Harbaugh, he doesn't turn the ball over. This team has had only 5 turnovers all year long coming into this game.
You look.
That's the bottom of the 9th inning. The Astros leading the Mets 5-4. We'll keep you up to date on that one. First down after the 13-yard pickup. Across the 40 to the 42 comes Wilcher. It'll bring up second down. That line up front, let's watch it.
Watch the double teams and also the stunts by the Michigan State Spartan defense. They do a lot of this, but this time, look at here, the pickup there by number 78. Hammerstein does a great job, and the entire offensive line. Let's see who slips off of that to make this play. There you are, Moore, 42, and 56 is Wolf. Great job.
Moore is tough. He just doesn't stay blocked, does he?
He really doesn't. He's an outstanding player.
Second down, 6 at the 39-yard line of Michigan State. Over the middle, the tight end Jeff Brown. And Brown has a first down catch to the 23. 16-yard pickup, and Harbaugh is showing no favor. He's picking everybody out.
Pitched that open receiver and delivered the ball right on the mark. It was against the zone that time, and he was wide open.
Brown is the man who lettered as a freshman a year ago. He is still learning how to play this football game. Just a sophomore at 6'4", 225 pounds. First down, the 8th first down of this game now for Michigan. So Penn State avoided that one, didn't they? Cincinnati gave them a scare. The Nittany Lions remain unbeaten. First down at the 23. Harbaugh on the option again. He's going to keep it. And goes down at the 15, 2 yards short of the first down.
What a great block in there by the right halfback. I think it was either White or Perriman who was lined up in there. And he does, if you watch right here, the right halfback, I can't quite see the number here because in the wishbone. Watch the block that he makes. It's 22. It is White. Great job. And there's Harbaugh outside the contain right now.
Shane Bola pounced on top of him, but he is just spreading the field out. He is making it so tough to defend this offense.
And you see those multiple formations that they're using. Now they're in the slot again.
This is the 11th play of this drive. The other one had 12 plays in it. Trying to pick up the first down is Jamie Morris. Michigan State's Rob Stradley, number 22, in there to make the stop. And let's see if he got the first down.
Stradley's in there.
He did.
Because he was a defensive back, and they're really fearful, obviously, of the Michigan passing game, so they get an extra defender in there, but he still does a nice job as an outside backer.
We have a man shaken up for Michigan. It's Elliott. They're going to look him over. John Elliott, Jumbo Elliott, number 72, all 306 pounds. They're going to get him out of there. Substitution will be Jerry Quarnes, 75, coming in.
Bo says he's his best offensive blocker. He's certainly the biggest.
He's played extremely well. He started 25 of their last 26 games.
As a matter of fact, George Perlis told me, he said he was really concerned about only one guy, which was, of course, Elliott, because he felt that his linemen couldn't see over him. The rest of them, he thought maybe they could see over him. Well, I'm not sure about that either. There's some pretty good-sized fellows in there.
It was the first down to the 12. Michigan's run off 22 plays to Michigan State's 7 thus far. Harbaugh.
He's got him right here.
Yes, he does. That's White. White will get to the 6. It'll be second down there. How about this? The Mets pulled it out. Lynn Dykstra with a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the New York Mets have defeated the Houston Astros 6-5. And they lead that best-of-7 series 2-1.
And at home.
Oh. Ron Darling was the winner, and Bob Knepper was the loser for the Houston Astros. And Jesse Orozco got the save, so you're up to snuff on that one. Second down, 4 to go for a first and goal. Harbaugh to Perriman. Perriman looks like he still doesn't have the first and goal. It's going to go to a third down.
Good double team on the inside, and they saw the crease, and they hit it in there for about 3 or 4 yards. They run the regular wishbone. They read it down the line. They don't recall it. Both says they're doing the same things as Oklahoma and when Texas and Alabama ran the bone, and the way the Air Force and some of the other service academies like the Army are using it. It's making a comeback, the wishbone is.
We have a correction. Orozco was the winner. So, the bottom of the 9th, Orozco in relief, picking up the win in relief of Ron Darnley. So we got that. Third down now, less than a yard to go for the first and goal. A lot of congestion. Perriman again straight ahead. And Bo not happy with the development on that play. I think he expressed his feelings.
Is there any question? Bo, you got
never...
200 wins.
They got it, though. It is the first and goal, but you never know it by watching Bo in that sequence.
He didn't think he got the first down. He didn't like the marking, I think. Now that he's got it, he's fine. Everything's fine now. He'll pound that ball in there. Historically, you know, they don't make many mistakes. And it's the point that you made about not many turnovers. If you look through the history of Michigan under Schembechler, they coach to avoid them, and they do come up with a very small number each year.
Harbaugh says Bo doesn't like those turnovers, and that's understated. First and goal now. They've had this ball since the 7:53 mark of the quarter, and there's only 13 seconds left in it. Straight ahead. Nope. Harbaugh keeping. He's not going to get in. Beautiful fake that time, but Rob Stradley, 22, was not fooled at all. Very good defensive play.
I thought he should have given the ball on that one. That was a read down the line, and it looked as if the fullback would have taken the ball into the end zone. Shortest distance, of course, is a straight line, but they've got plenty of downs to do it, but they're going to have to do it in the second quarter.
That's right. We've come to the end of our first quarter here in Ann Arbor. As we come back, it'll be second and goal at about the 1.5-yard line for Michigan. Michigan trying to build on a 3-0 lead. Again, the 79th meeting between these two intrastate rivals. Michigan leading at 3-0 on the strength of a 33-yard field goal, and now a chance to add to that advantage as we begin the second quarter. Second down goal at the 1.5-yard line. Wilcher, White, and Perryman come in. We expect to see the wishbone.
The two tight ends.
Harbaugh trying to get some quiet in that end zone area. And I think that's a busted play, is it or not?
You're exactly right. But the hole was so big that even Harbaugh went through it. Both the fullback and the right halfback went in.
Moons to attempt the point after. Very well put, Era. The blocking was so good, he could take his time and just kind of waltz in. 9-0 Michigan. That was a 16-play, 83-yard drive. And Moons makes it 10-0.
I think the mistake was right there. Look at the hole open up in there. Harbaugh just steps in. I believe the second back, Wilcher, was supposed to carry the ball. There's a ground level view. He's looking for Wilcher. He's not there, so he says, I know where the hole is. It's supposed to be there, and it was.
Shows you how resourceful he is as a quarterback. He never seemingly loses his poise, and Harbaugh gives him a 10-0 lead. Very well, the 10-0 lead. After that last play, there were 12 men on the field by Michigan State, so they're going to assess the penalty, what they called illegal participation.
Illegal participation. Had too many men out there.
And so, Michigan will kick off from the 50-yard line. Ingram and Johnson will go back for Michigan State. Boy, that first quarter, 11:39 time of possession for Michigan. Michigan State had the ball only 3 minutes and 21 seconds.
But they did demonstrate while they had the ball a pretty good passing attack, good screens. They got good concepts.
That will go for the touchback. Michigan and Iowa. What a tradition that is. And next week we'll be bringing you that game. But let's go back to 1985. You remember this one? Went right down to the wire. Here's Chuck Long. Now with the Detroit Lions scrambling out. And this touchdown pass was disallowed. A very controversial play at that particular time, as Scott Helverson thought he had it, but he did not. Michigan then with Jim Harbaugh at the controls, being chased by Jeff Drost, rolling out, flips it off to Gerald White. He takes it in, and it went down then to the field goal that Iowa kicked to win it. Here is Craig Johnson. Johnson moving out to the 24-yard line. So let's go back to the fantastic finish. They kicked the field goal, and next week, right here, the round robin continuing in Big Ten play here in Michigan Stadium.
A year ago in that game, Gary, they were ranked 1 and 2. Iowa's ranked number 1, Michigan number 2.
Iowa this week playing Wisconsin from the 24-yard line now. 2nd down and 6. Urema to Johnson, tripped up. Billy Harris, the nose tackle, got a piece of him. And so the line of scrimmage will be just about where they started, the 24-yard line.
Harris got a lot of penetration that time. He has excellent speed. This Michigan State's got to make some first downs. They cannot kick that ball back because Michigan will just absolutely possession them to death, as we witnessed in that first quarter where, as you pointed out, Gary, they had the ball for 11 minutes and almost 40 seconds.
So this is a very important play in the early part of this game.
I really think so.
3rd down, 7. Urema, the ball is loose. Michigan State gets on it. Mark Hill recovered. Urema taking a real shot that time. Let's look at it.
Dieter Herron comes from the backside. Watch him come from the left of your screen. Number 35. Bang! Oh, that's 39. I'm sorry. It was Willingham. I thought it was 35 from here. But nevertheless, he really put a hit on him.
Willingham started out as a 3rd stringer, now starting at that outside linebacking spot. Fortunately, Michigan State able to get on it, but they're going to have to punt the football. Montgomery will punt from the 1. This is Kolazar back to receive it.
Oh, what a great catch.
He took that one over his head.
Wow.
He'll let that one go in for a touchdown. 86 yards by Greg Montgomery. There is a penalty flag, however, at the 47-yard line. A line drive, and that looked like a center fielder going back trying to field the ball. We'll be back to check the penalty in a moment. Standing performance in the areas of team contributions, academics, and citizenship. Today's game leadership winners are Pat Shermer from Michigan State. Patrick is a senior, general business administration and pre-law major with a 3.3 grade point average from Dearborn Heights, Michigan. And Ken Higgins from Michigan. Ken is a business major with a 4.1 grade point average on a 4.3 scale from Battle Creek, Michigan. And Toyota will donate a check in the amount of $1,000 to each of the school's general scholarship funds.
Well, what happened on that punt is that Michigan State was called for holding. Michigan was called for a clip while the ball was in the air, and now they want to go back and re-kick this. Now they're going to go back to the other way. Now let's see what he calls here. That was the original signal that he gave. Now they've changed their mind. They got to sort this out.
Jim Kemmerling is the referee. There's the man who just booted one, 86 yards. Let's see if it'll stand.
Honorable mention All-American, Associated Press in '85. His father was a teammate of George Perlis at Michigan State.
And he's wearing the same number that his father wore when he played at Michigan State. That 86-yarder error, by the way, breaks his own record. He had an 80-yard punt against Indiana last year.
Well, I guess the officials can't decide what is right and what's wrong. You know, Greg Montgomery also has a bad back. He does a lot of
flag. It's a touchback.
Oh,
disregard?
Inadvertent flag. He signaled originally. They signaled holding and then clipping, and now they say inadvertent flag.
That's a lot to be inadvertent about, isn't it?
Somebody changed their mind. I guess that's the easiest way. You bet, boy. What a big, big punt by Greg Montgomery for the Spartans.
Yeah, it's good it stands. You'll still have that. So it's a 20-yard line now. Michigan, they didn't figure to start from this position. They had them backed up all the way, and all of a sudden they're in their own 20-yard line.
What a weapon he is.
White, Wiltshire in the backfield. Behind Jim Harbaugh. 10-0 Michigan. 13:08 to go in this first half. Wiltshire straightened up, and he'll be dropped at the 22. A pickup of 2 on the play. Bergen in on the stop. Also getting up is Moore. Tim Moore seemingly everywhere. Look at that score.
Wow.
Georgia Tech over North Carolina State. Dick Sheridan's team has been playing well up to that point.
That really is a surprise. I think that they were undefeated and had one tie, I believe.
That's right. From the 22.5 is where they'll have it now. 2nd down. Morris and White in the backfield. Second down, 7. Harbaugh. A little bit of pressure. It's picked off. Intercepted. Coming up with it is Bobbitt. Paul Bobbitt, his second interception in many weeks.
I think that Harbaugh was pressured into that poor throw. He didn't have the kind of time he wanted to set and throw the football. We'll look at it from an end zone shot here. You'll watch here. He sets up, and he wants to throw. He gets pressure right there. He has to throw a little higher. Great job of Bobbitt stepping in there, number 39, and making the interception. Big, big play for the Spartans.
Only the second interception by Harbaugh this year. And Bobbitt, who had an interception against Iowa, comes up with one here, and Michigan State has it out to 28 of Michigan. Urema to Craig Johnson. Bob Morse throws a block. He hurdles the man to the 25-yard line. Bob Morse leading the way that time. He's such an outstanding blocker, all-around player. Craig Johnson went to the air to get to the 25.
He's got great speed. He's on the Michigan State track team, and I'm talking about Craig Johnson right here. Look at him carry the ball in his right hand going to the left. Oh, not bad hurdler either.
Second down now, 7. Craig is a roommate of Lorenzo White's, and Lorenzo spent a lot of time this week getting prepped for this game. Urema is going to be a reverse fake. Faking it is Johnson. Johnson has a first down to the 15-yard line. 10-yard pickup. Ivan Hicks made the stop. You thought Ingram was going to get it on that error, and he just kept it.
That's right. A good fake there. Let's take a look right here. Johnson, Ingram coming back, and he fakes it right here, and then gets blocking and comes right up the field. Here we go. The pitch from Urema right here. Now watch this fake right here. It appears that he gives it to him, hides the ball beautifully on his right hip. Now he gets good blocking up front. Craig finds the seam right there. And Arnold and Hicks come back in to save the play.
From the 15, first down, Michigan State. They trail 10-0. Ingram in motion. Pitch to Johnson's got a block from Mandrich. And he gets to the 11. The ball is fumbled. Michigan, Andy Moeller has come up with it.
Called it down, I believe, Gary. I think he called it down. Let's take a look at this call.
Well, you can tell from the crowd it's going Michigan State's way.
Yeah. Well, it was on the far side of the field. You couldn't quite tell. Let's take another look at it from an end zone shot. I thought that he could have stayed right up on the inside here at that hole right there. Well, I see Hicks stepped up in there. Let's see where the fumble occurs. You see the ball's in his right hand. He should keep it in his left. Oh, he was down. That was a good
he
call.
was. Willingham had him around the neck.
Yeah.
And so they really dodge a problem there. Second down, 6. From the 11, Johnson again, and it's tough. Coming through is Harris, the nose guard again. And that's what Bo Schembechler said about Harris. He's like a stump. You just can't blast him out of there.
And he's good speed, excellent speed on top of it. He was only about 245 a year ago. He's up to 270 now.
Yeah, and I think Gary Moeller thinks he should lose a little of that weight, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's look at that other play about the fumble again.
Another angle. You see how he has the ball in his right hand? He should carry it in his left.
Oh, I don't know.
Ball comes out just
Yes,
before
it
he
does.
gets it down.
That replay showed it was rejected out of there.
Right.
0 for 2 on third down. Here's the 3rd and 6 for Michigan State.
Oh, look right down the
got
seam.
time and incomplete. He was there. The ball was there, but the catch was not made. That was Richard Kasevich, number 86, the tight end.
Kasevich was wide open on this play, as you'll see him right here. And if Urema would have thrown the ball a little sooner, watch here. He splits the seam. Right there he is. But the ball is a little late getting there. Off his left side, too. The ball was thrown slightly to his left.
28-yard field goal attempt by this guy, Chris Caudell. 4 of 7 on the year. And Caudell has the Spartans on the scoreboard at the 9:58 mark. And so this rivalry continues. Michigan State with the interception, able to put 3 on the board. They trail by 7. Let's go back and look.
Michigan is in a 3-deep defense right here. Kasevich splits the seam between the safety man and the right half. And the ball is delivered to his left. If it had been delivered to his numbers right here, it would have been a touchdown. You see the secondary cannot respond to that ball. They're there too late. But the ball was off to his left. Otherwise, that would have been a touchdown.
That's Kasevich, the same guy who figured in our play we talked about at the top of our broadcast, where he was pulled down on that interception that gave Iowa the victory. So he has been instrumental in 2 games back-to-back, but in that replay, you could see that would have been a very tough catch to make. Yeah, I thought initially it was thrown a little bit better now. So now Michigan will go back to receive this kickoff from Montgomery. 9:58 left to go in the first half. 10-3 Michigan. Holloway goes back. He's joined by Kolazar. Montgomery, a little squibber this time. Picked up by Holloway, and Holloway will bring it out to the 25-yard line. Tomorrow it's the NFL on CBS, where the undefeated Redskins will clash with their arch rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. Some of you may see Buddy Ryan bring his 46th defense and the Philadelphia Eagles to the Meadowlands to take on Phil Simms and the New York Giants. Be sure now to check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Great NFL action beginning with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern on CBS. And I'll tell you, Era, Buddy Ryan has the Eagles rolling. They've won 2 in a row.
Sure has. They've played super defensively.
From the 25 now, first down for Michigan. Harbaugh off to Jamie Morris. Morris out across the 25 to possibly the 28-yard line, running behind that big line of Hammerstein and Elliott.
Just a power play off the right side. Look at the huge splits right here between the right guard and right tackle, John Elliott and Hammerstein. And they just powered over the right side. Both backs lead through, and Jamie turns back to the inside. He'd been better served if he'd have stayed behind his right half and fullback.
The Air Force Academy was the first to use those splits. As Ken Hatfield started it, Fisher DeBerry has replaced him at Air Force. They've used it so effectively. Second down, 7. Harbaugh in trouble. All of a sudden now, Michigan State finding a way to get to Harbaugh.
Well, that's what they needed. And that was John Buddy, number 87. Earlier in the first quarter, they were not able to get to Harbaugh, but now they're starting to put pressure on.
John Buddy, again, his dad was an All-American. His brother was an All-American at USC.
Right there at number 87 at right tackle. Finally comes off of his block. 72, John Elliott loses him. And a great job.
Paul Jokic has checked in. There's Buddy. He has delivered for him this year, a sophomore. Third down, 15. Harbaugh and Jokic has it. What an imposing target. 23 yards to the 42-yard line.
Great job. Jokic was split out to the right, came down into the seam. Take a look here where Jokic was. He's 6 foot 8 inches tall. Right here is Jokic. He'll come right in deeper than the linebackers, and Harbaugh hits him with a perfect strike. Watch him come right off of this. Releases to the outside of the man, now comes back to the inside. Look at the seam. Harbaugh makes a beautiful throw. Deeper than the secondary and behind the linebackers.
Harbaugh has missed him. He pulled his groin against Oregon State. Has not been able to get back in the lineup. That's only his 3rd catch of the year. Here is Wilcher. Wilcher brings it to the 48-yard line. Quite a collision there.
Gary
Crum, Shane Bulla over on the stop. He's 8 for 43 rushing now.
Excuse me, Gary, but that really was a big play by Harbaugh. You know, they've got him down there in the long yardage situation, the Spartans do, and they're going to get the ball back. They're going to get decent field position, and what a big play that is.
3rd and 15, and they got the 23-yard gainers. You know, George Perlis told me that Jokic is the guy that Harbaugh looks to when he gets in trouble, but he's so big you can hardly miss him out there.
6 foot 8. I mean, a 5'9" or 10 guy is going to have a tough time trying to get this guy down.
2nd and 5. Jamie Morris trying to get wide. And he gets to the 50-yard line. He'll be 2 yards short of the first down. McMurtry trying to throw the block for him. Shane Bullis, his dad, of course, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, over to make the stop along with Rob Stratton. So many coaches suds in this game. We have Andy Moeller. We have Shane Bullis. just to name two of them. Doug Mallory, whose dad is a head coach at Indiana. And something special about those coaches' sons.
Well, they learn how to play the game early, I guess.
They have no choice.
My son played for me also at Notre Dame. But I didn't coach him too well, I guess.
Michigan's 5 of 6 on third downs, and they have a 3rd and 3. Harbaugh with excellent protection. McMurtry broken up. And guess who that is again? Todd Crum. He seemingly always has a nose for the football.
Played the ball beautifully. Here he is right here. He comes down, he comes out and then up, and Crum stays right there with him. Watch him. And the ball is thrown. This is McMurtry coming right down to the outside. Now, right there, he's in the seam. The ball is a little late, and he has to come back for it. You see, he had to wait for the ball. Harbaugh underthrew that one.
As an end result, Monty Robbins will come in and punt for the first time. Crum is back. And he fakes the receiving of the ball, lets it go in for the touchback, a 50-yard punt. Michigan State will start from the 20, trailing by 7, 10-3.
Michigan State sideline with a familiar face, Lorenzo White, who wishes he were playing today. First of all, how's the knee, Lorenzo?
Oh, yeah, the knee is going fine. You know, I'm sitting out this game, and I had to do a lot of treatments this week, and hopefully by next week we'll get it ready with a knee brace. I'll be winning the game, and I'll be ready.
Now, the young man replacing you, Craig Johnson, you gave him a lot of advice. What did you say to him?
Oh, yeah, I told Craig Johnson just to go out and do the best job he can, and don't worry about it being nervous, you know, because after the first hit, he'll be okay. And just look at things, you know, like he know how to do it well as far as running the ball.
Let's watch the game. Thank you, Lorenzo. Let's go upstairs.
Okay, Pat, the wave is underway here at Michigan Stadium. Next week, this Michigan State team will play at Illinois. They hope to have White back. Straight ahead, Bob Morse. Bob Morse moves it out to the 25, gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Andy Moeller made the stop. There's Bobby. He won the block this year and lead Lorenzo White to the Heisman Trophy, as his dad did, blocking for Paul Hornung. There he is.
You know,
leadership that he gives, and his all-around athletic ability.
He's closer to 210 now. I was talking to him last week because he was rehabilitated. He's a real man.
2nd down, 5. Craig Johnson. That play did not develop very well.
Oh, marvelous defense. Marvelous defense. Arnold, number 15. They warded off the blocks. I was really impressed with the Michigan defense. Herron and Arnold, number 35 and 15.
Remember number 15, David Arnold. He's a sophomore. They think he's going to be a great one.
Watching the lower part of your screen here, number 15, number 35. Ward off the blocks. Morris comes in motion right there. He'll fight off that block. Dieter Herron, 35, and there you see Arnold come off. Great defense. Beautifully played.
Arnold starting today because Eric Campbell had to replace Tony Gant at free safety. And they'll have a tough time getting him out of the lineup. 3rd down now, 6. And Craig Johnson gets a yard, and that's all. Moeller is there again. Seemingly everywhere. He had 3 interceptions last week against Wisconsin. 2nd team all Big Ten of a year ago.
He gets a little cleanup job there by Andre McIntyre. Here's the screen, the draw play. Watch Moeller and McIntyre come in here. Moeller right there, and then McIntyre to the left, and they put him down.
Billy Harris started problems for him as he got through from that nose guard spot.
Getting a lot of penetration.
Hey, look at Kolazar. Is he back this time? He respects Montgomery, doesn't he? Blocked it. David Arnold, the guy we were just talking about, comes up with the block punt.
Gary, he blocked 3 punts last year. He's got tremendous speed, outstanding football player, and that is his 4th block kick. 6'3", 196-pound sophomore from Warren, Ohio.
There's the guy that blocked one last year, Dieter Herron, who came up with this ball.
They got one last year, Dieter Herron. Look at him come right there. Number 15 avoids the block, comes in from the left side. What a marvelous job. He did a great job on the play before tackling, and this time he blocks the kick.
Eventually, the Wolverines coming up with it at the 5-yard line.
how important that kicking game is.
Isn't it amazing, though, a guy that can block punts like that, they just have a certain innate ability about it.
Knack about it, timing. Of course, they have to have speed to go with it.
First and goal at the 5. Major break for Michigan. Harbaugh on the option, tries to cut it, and he got a yard, and that's all. Fine reaction. Percy Snow, number 48, who's just a freshman, a true freshman out of Canton, Ohio. There he is, made the stop. He was the Ohio Defensive Player of the Year last year as a senior.
That was a good defensive response by the Spartans. Excellent.
They didn't get anything on that. Second and goal.
They're trying to go over John Elliott, their strong tackle from Hammerstein and Brown, but the response by the defense was excellent.
Excellent balance by Michigan. 87 yards rushing, 88 passing. Second and goal from the 5.
Who says Bo won't throw it, huh?
Yeah, right. Harbaugh to Morris. Morris will get a couple. There's a penalty flag. It would be third and goal, but let's see what the flag's all about. That's the thing about Bo. He says Jim Harbaugh is the best pro prospect he's had at quarterback, and so he's allowed them to open it up. Has great confidence in him.
What a great job here defensively by the Spartans. Filling the hole. Looked like there was a good hole there.
We have a man shaken up for Michigan State.
There's a ground level view right here. Looks like a nice hole coming through. See, that was Mark Nichols, number 83, was filling in there. Beautiful.
The guy that's hurt, Era, is the man we just singled out a play ago, Percy Snow, out of McKinley High School in Canton, Ohio, the freshman who had made a fine play earlier, but let's look at this last play.
You get great fill in here by these linemen. Mark Nichols down in here fills, and they do a great job. Let's take a look. Here's the fake to the fullback. Now there's Jamie Morris. You see the hole right here. It looks like he's got something that he's going to take it in there. Now watch the fill here. Mark Nichols, number 83, comes off of his block, and he gets a lot of help from the rest of the Spartans. Great defensive work at the goal line.
We're going to take a break. 3:40 left to go in this first half. Michigan 10-3. This Heisman Trophy moment is brought to you by Kodak. In 1935, Jay Berwanger of the University of Chicago received the first Downtown Athletic Club trophy. It was awarded to the best football player east of the Mississippi. Playing every down of every game, Berwanger was Chicago football, and he was better known than the statue that would become the Heisman.
Because I was the first one, being in the Downtown Athletic Club and looking out at the Statue of Liberty and then traveling around New York, the Club 21, the Rockettes and the plays and so forth.
New York Downtown Athletic Club. Jay Berwanger, the guy that they have highlighted this year, or this week. That last penalty was against Michigan State, half the distance. Percy Snow was helped off the field, and Michigan State has called the entire defensive team over to the sideline. Now they come back into position.
Well, back in the old days, you could only bring one over, Gary. As a matter of fact, you couldn't bring anyone over. Then they allowed you to bring one. Now they can send the whole team over so that the coaches can talk to them, which I think is great.
So the penalty error makes it second and goal at the 2. We'll try to get an update on Percy Snow, the extent of his injury, the freshman. Here's Harbaugh and company trying to punch it in after the block punt. Jamie Morris, he's not going to get there. Check that, Gerald White. And White will be stopped short of the goal line, and it'll go to a third down.
Shane Bullitt, number 41, the leading tackler of the Spartans, steps in here and makes a nice play. You'll see him filling number 41 right there, along with 22 Stradley, and they stop him short of that goal line. There's still a yard to go.
Third and a yard to go. There's Bullitt, the senior out of Moeller High School in Cincinnati. Second team All Big Ten a year ago. Second team Academic All-American. Third down, pitch to Wilcher. He's not going to get in, and what a defensive stand by Michigan State.
Great defense. As I said earlier, when you get inside that 20, the Spartans really tighten up and make it tough for you to go.
John Miller led the charge. There he is, the sophomore, number 44.
Take another look here. Crom, number 44, the second guy from the top here, fills and makes a great play on this. Let's look at it. It's a big risk pitching the ball out down here. There's the force. There's Crum, number 44, wiping off. Does a marvelous job.
Back to the live action. 19-yard field goal attempt by Pat Moon. Moons gets it. The Michigan State has to be very satisfied. They averted the touchdown after the block punt. Michigan puts up 3 more. They lead it by 10. You're going to point out another important figure in this particular play.
Certainly was. 3 people were instrumental. Altobelli forces the pitch right there. Buddy fights off the block of Brown and helps, and Crum wipes right off and makes the play. Let's look at it. You see Altobelli there, then you see Crum wiping off, and there comes Buddy in when Brown was trying to block him. Great work.
So they settle for the 19-yard field goal. We have an update on Percy Snow, the freshman linebacker. Sprained left leg. He'll be out the rest of the game. So Gillette now will be kicking off. Ingram will go back along with Johnson. So the block punt by Arnold ends up in a 3-point play, but by keeping them out of the end zone area, they keep themselves right in the middle of this football game.
Well, you got to be darn proud of your football team when you have the block kick and your opponent takes over at the 4 or 5 yard line and you give nothing but a field goal. You're certainly, and with a penalty in there also, they had another opportunity when they moved the ball from the 5 to the 2.5. Here we go.
Gillette kicking off. This is Ingram. Ingram with that outstanding save got people boxed up. He ducked in and ducked out, and he had Michigan all tangled up amongst themselves. This is for bragging rights of Michigan. We asked George Perlis what a victory could mean to his program.
I personally think it's worth 3 good football players in the state of Michigan. I think that it does have some influence on our recruiting. I think there are a certain percentage of players that go to the school based on last season's game, the game that's most refreshing in their mind. And I don't know that that's true for sure, but that's at least my opinion.
You get a big rivalry like they have between the Spartans and the Wolverines. I'll guarantee you they're trying to recruit the same guys, and who wins is important.
Jareem on a rollout. It's Morse. Morse is stepped by Felder.
It looked to me like Todd Schulte came in there. Was that Todd Schulte who came in there?
Todd
Boy,
Schulte.
He put a hit.
And Schulte, one of the twin brothers, he and Tim play for this team. Tim also an outside linebacker.
Boy, this is a real, they really can hit. This is a great tackling football team. There you see Todd Schulte, 41. You can see the number now. We couldn't see it from here. Boy, that's a nice play.
Urema now 3 of 5 for 16 yards. Out of Kentucky is Todd Schulte. Second down, 10. Urema, pressure. Peter Herron is back there. It's going to be blown dead. It'll be blown dead at the point of impact. Peter Herron, who seems to play his best games against Michigan State.
I want to see that one again. I see what he ruled. He ruled him down there or in the grasp. He's marking the ball at the 26-yard line.
I'm with you. I'd like to see this again.
Yes.
Loss of 17 yards on the play.
Let's see whether he was okay. Was back in the pocket. I try to screen. There's Dieter Herron. Was he trying to throw that ball?
I don't know.
He was trying to throw the ball, and it hit Dieter Herron, I think. And the referee could see that.
Bobby Morris, who has that bad shoulder, went after the ball anyway and took a pretty good wallop around the goal line. So it's blown dead at the 26-yard line. Michigan State very fortunate there.
Oh, that's a big break for him.
With 45 seconds left in the first half, Urema giving to Johnson. Johnson bouncing off of people and a very resourceful run out to the 33-yard line. Herron was the first to hit him. And we're going to have a timeout by Michigan. They have 2 timeouts left. So with 34 seconds left to go in this first half, it'll be 4th down, 19. Michigan State will have to get rid of the ball when we come back. Michigan with a 13-3 lead, and we've had an upset. Mike Gottfried's Pittsburgh Panthers have defeated Notre Dame 10-9. At halftime, we'll be joining Jim Nantz for the Prudential College Football Report. So Michigan State now, on a 4th and 19, will have to punt the football. You groaned a little bit, Coach, when you saw that score.
Yeah, I sure did. That one hurt. That hurt.
What a murderous schedule the Irish are playing this year.
They really do.
Montgomery, who had an 86-yarder earlier, gets into this one pretty well. Colasar with the ball. And he is decked at the 29-yard line. A penalty flag has been thrown. 46-yard punt, a 9-yard return, but we're going to have to sort this one out. 105,000 plus for the 79th renewal for the bragging rights of Michigan. And Michigan leads Michigan State 13-3 on the strength of 2 field goals and a Harbaugh 1-yard touchdown run. I'm Gary Bender along with Ara Parsegian as the Michigan Wolverines 4-0 unbeaten, 4th ranked in the country, leading Michigan State. Here's the only score. Harbaugh on a busted play took this in.
Harbaugh reacted. You see how smart he is. Wilshire made the mistake going to his left, and he just stepped through the hole. Instead of the ball carrier being the left halfback, it became the quarterback. Good, smart quarterbacking by Harbaugh.
That was holding against Michigan, so they're not going to have the ball where they wanted it. It's now at the 24, and with 23 seconds left, I don't imagine Bo will try anything fancy here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether he tries to get in the field goal position with 23 seconds. He doesn't want to make a mistake. I would trust that he would be somewhat conservative here and run the clock down and go on in.
They have 2 timeouts remaining.
Yeah.
Here's Morris. Morris going nowhere. There's Moore again. Buddy, 87. Moore and Buddy have... We knew Moore was good, but I think Buddy has been a pleasant surprise. They didn't know as a sophomore whether he would be this instrumental in their defense, but he has arrived for them.
He's played exceptionally well during the entire year. 6'3", 228.
And so the first half has come to a close here at Michigan Stadium. Ted Tollner will be live with Jim Nance at halftime, talking about his game with Washington State today, the unbeaten Trojans of USC. Our score here at the halfway point. Michigan, unbeaten 4th ranked, trying to defeat Michigan State with a 13-3 lead. Be sure to stay with us. Football scores, an interview with Ted Tollner coming up at halftime. And Rising
2 ball games, and I'll tell you, they're dangerous. We saw it on that out. But let's say this about points in the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter has been the most productive for Michigan. They've scored 34 points.
Those 6 points are 2 field goals by Notre Dame. That's all they've gotten against Michigan this year in the 3rd quarter. That's pretty impressive.
Well, certainly in the first half, I would say that the Wolverine team looked like the defensive team of 1985, which was just fantastic.
Gillette kicking off. Johnson has it to the 20 and gets them some operating room across the 25-yard line. So the adjustments have been made. Michigan State will get the first crack at it. There's just what we were talking about. I tell you, Gary Moeller does such an outstanding job as the head defensive coach of this Michigan team.
It's such a complicated defense. They have people all over the place. It's very difficult to read. It's a multiple deal, and they do a great job. Moeller does a fine job of coaching.
Urema, let's see if he can get that wide receiver department into this football game. He's got some pressure, gets it off to Morse, and Bobby Morse will get some yardage out across the 30 to the 32. Garland Rivers, number 13, the cornerback, over to make the stop. He's like money in the bank, isn't he, every time you throw the ball to him?
They slip the fullback out into the flat. Right here, Morris comes right out in here after he fakes it in here. Watch it. And, of course, the wide receiver drives off, slow blocks, then breaks it. You see Morris right there wide open. Not a big gainer, and of course Moeller says, I'm willing to take those, give him those little ones.
That little one picked up 6. It's 2nd down and 4 now from the 32. Rising in motion, and they hit it up the middle. That's Morse, very close to the first down, across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Perlis now seeing if they got the first down. If not, they're going to be just short of it, and it'll go to a 3rd down, and that's what it is. 3rd down. Nope, 1st down. Correction. They did get the 1st down. Got it. So it's a 36-yard line now. Michigan State gets the initial 1st down of the 2nd half. Just what Moeller said. This could be a very critical time now, this first time.
Well, it's awful difficult to keep two guys like Ingram and Risen down for 60 minutes because they can go all the way at any time.
Fourth first down of the game for the Spartans. Urema giving off to Johnson. Here he comes. Spinning across the 50. Garland Rivers eventually catching up with him. A 16-yard pickup. You saw that burst of speed. He's got it.
He does. Johnson is a fine back. Picked up 16 yards on the play. They had a great hole blocked over the right offensive side. And it looks to me like Garland Rivers is limping.
He is hurt. Rivers is down. Coming in is Alan Bishop, number 10. Top-ranked Miami having an easy time of it. And on November 1st here on CBS, you'll see the number 1 ranked team in the country, Miami against Florida State. One of those.
As Rivers 13 making the tackle on Johnson, kind of gets whipped around.
We'll get an update on him as soon as possible. That was the first down of 16 yards, setting up now to 48 of Michigan. Urema to Johnson again, and Johnson across the 45 to the 44-yard line. He's not afraid to go airborne, is he? Picked some of that up from Lorenzo White. He has 55 yards now on 13 carries. Brings up 2nd and 6. Rivers has come back into the game, so that's good to see as he replaces Bishop. Garland Rivers, last year, second-team All-Big Ten pick at that cornerback spot. Urema to Johnson again. Johnson is going to get the first down and then some. Inside the 35 to the 34, an 11-yard pickup. And George Burles told us this week he didn't think he could make a living running against this team. They're doing a good job of it.
I didn't think so either. Look at 21, Bobby Morris. He makes a great block right out here on the corner. Right there on Garland Rivers. And Johnson takes it right there. Craig takes the daylight. This is an impressive running drive by the Spartans.
Give credit to Vince Tato, also a guard.
Yes, the offensive line is blocking very well.
There's Harbaugh, still waiting for his first opportunity in the second half. First down now at the 33-yard line. We have a new center. Dave Martin has replaced Shermer, who's come out of the game for Michigan State. Morse, that almost broke for a nice gain. Instead, he's dropped at the 30-yard line by Moeller again. Andy Moeller on the stop. Shermer, their outstanding center, took himself out of the game, so they have a new man now snapping the ball.
You know, Gary, probably Michigan State went into the locker room and said, hey, they're deploying to stop our passing game. We can run because they're only got 3 or 4 men up there and everybody else is running to the pass. We've got to make them respect the run, and that's exactly what they're doing here.
Second down, 6 for the Spartans. The initial series of the second half. Urema to Johnson. Johnson slipped. Moeller was there to be sure he didn't continue up the field. I think you could automatically call that one without even watching. He seems to be on every stop.
You know, he was right there. It made no difference whether Johnson slipped or not because Moeller was right on top of it.
I know his dad said that he's such a perfectionist, Andy is. He always wants to do everything right. He pays a little bit of a price for that. Third down now, 7. Michigan State has not converted a third down today. They're 0 of 5. Urema. And Michigan has recovered a ball that was fumbled by Urema. Out of all of that, somehow the ball got loose, and Michigan has it. Siebert, 86, being congratulated.
Michigan has forced 15 turnovers this year. They're really getting pressure. Urema is not getting the protection that he normally gets. Right there, there's the he knocked the ball right out of his hand coming from the rear.
As Billy Harrison knocked it away, Messner was there first, but this guy recovered the fumble. So the turnovers, you mentioned it, that defense continues to produce it. Tolazar in motion, Wilcher on the carry, gets to the 40, there's a penalty flag as he picks up a couple of yards. So that drive was really very well engineered up to that point. And then on third down, they have not been able to convert any of their third downs this year. This game, I should say.
Another look at the fumble here. You see Urema right in the pocket. Harris coming around. Right there. Shakes the... No, Harris is right there, 56. Messner got him from the back, number 60. Yeah. But that's the kind of pressure. That absolutely neutralizes the passing game completely.
They're saying that Messner was not making the big plays like he was a year ago, but people are running away from him a lot, the all Big Ten player. But he made one there, and this penalty is against Michigan.
On the offense, first down.
So the holding will move it back, and will set it up at the 28-yard line. 11:56 to go in the third quarter. 13-3. Jokic, you see Jokic, number 84, is checked into the game. Flip to the near side. Polisar in motion. They pick up the blitzing Nichols, and the pass intended for Wilcher. Nichols was almost on top of Harbaugh, hurrying that play up.
And the coverage was excellent. Bradley was right on Polisar. Man-to-man coverage underneath and deep zone, too deep zone to protect them. That time the man-to-man coverage people were right on top of the receivers.
Era, it's interesting. Early in the game, they were protecting Harbaugh. Now he's getting a little more pressure as this game wears on.
See Jokic coming in, and then, of course, there's Stradley coming right off. Right there. Right on top of him, right there. Good coverage. Everybody's covered well.
Second down, 20 yards to go. Harbaugh with time on target. That's going to be short of the first down. Ken Higgins makes the catch. 16-yard pickup, but they needed 20. So Ken Higgins has gotten a chance to play due to the injury to Jokic, and they're having a tough time keeping him out of there. 8 catches last week.
Great route here by Higgins, number 31. We'll take another look. Here he is, right here. Comes down and breaks in the seam. Not enough for the first down, as Gary said, but a fine throw. Harbaugh gets a little better protection right here. Now he delivers right there, right on the numbers. Fine throw.
Line of scrimmage to 44. Third down, 4. Harbaugh with some pressure gets it off to White, and I believe he's got the first down. Shane Bola made a fine open field tackle, but White lunging forward is very close if he didn't get the first down.
Now, Gary, Harbaugh made a great play under pressure. He reacted immediately because he was going to get dumped for negative yardage. And he put the ball right there, and Bulla saved the big play.
But George Perlis, they're coming after him, aren't they?
They really are. Harbaugh, I thought he was going to get sacked on that play.
Shane Bola made an excellent tackle that time in the open field, but still's enough of a gain for a first down. Sets it up at the Michigan 48. 13-3, Michigan.
See how Michigan can get out of jail? There they were, another 10-yard penalty, and here they are with a first down.
Started at a 1st and 20 drive. Harbaugh to Wilcher. Wilcher to the Michigan end of the field at the 48-yard line. There's Bergen, number 45, out of Elmhurst, Illinois. He's a transfer from College of DuPage, which is a junior college in Illinois, and they didn't figure on him being that instrumental this year, but he's come on, and they can't get him out of the starting lineup. Down in the Cotton Bowl, Oklahoma was one of the biggest favored spreads, I think, in the history of this game. Don't you think? Were they favored by that? 24?
I believe it. Right around 23 or 24 points.
24-0. Barry Switzer's team beaten up on the Longhorns. Second down, 6. Wilcher trying to get wide. And he shows that good track speed, getting close to the 42-yard line. Looks like they had that play strung out pretty well, but Wilcher's raw speed was able to get some yardage.
Wilcher was patient with it, waited until he saw whatever the daylight was going to be there. To watch it from ground level here, here he is just kind of running along, looking, going to tip it inside. No, it's outside. They got the block on the corner, and he turns it and picks up good yardage.
Third down, a yard to go. White throwing a good block on that play. Wilcher with 51 yards now and 11 carries. You can see why Bo likes Gerald White. He just does a little bit of everything for this football team. Made a catch for a first down, now throws a block on the subsequent play. 30 yards to go. And Perryman straightened up, but his second effort may have gotten him the first down.
No, he's got it.
Michigan with the first down now to the 41-yard line. Perryman is very difficult to stop on a 1-yard situation, and that proves it right there.
A very versatile athlete. Coming into this game, he had caught 10 passes. Fullback at Michigan catching 10 passes in 4 games is unheard of.
There were a lot of games when no one got 10 passes for Michigan. That's right. They just run over you, right? From the 41, first down. That's Higgins in motion. Harbaugh play action in trouble. Bergen is there. Bergen's not very big. He's 6 foot, but you can see the quickness that he has. A 9-yard loss on the play.
He was a backup. He was a backup tackle. Szymanski got hurt, number 91. They put Bergen in. Now they can't get him out. He's played so well. Here he comes from the right side of your screen, number 45. He really puts the heat on Harbaugh right there. Wraps him up. Great play by Joe Bergen.
Perlis says he loves his demeanor. He says he's nasty.
And he didn't play it down last year.
You like those nasty players, Coach?
Oh, you bet.
Second down now, 19 yards to go. So all of a sudden, they're in a long yardage situation again. Blitzing. Harbaugh, they pick it up. Harbaugh throwing to Jokic, and they're running out of room. Todd Crum had that one pretty well zeroed in defensively.
Well, they had 6'2" Crum on 6'8" Jokic. They tried to throw the ball up there and let it go up like a basketball player, which he was before he got out here and played football for the Wolverines, but Harbaugh did not throw a good one.
Crum has been all over the place, defending very well. And we mentioned he had those 2 big interceptions against Notre Dame, and that week he was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. So a third down and 19. Harbaugh with all kinds of time. He can run. He elects to throw to White, and White is going to be short of the first down by some 3-4 yards. That was one of those very tantalizing plays. Harbaugh had so much running room, but elected to throw and picked up 15.
The guy that was really open was Jamie Morris. I thought he saw him, was going to throw the ball to him, but he waited and waited and apparently did not spot him. Morris was really wide open.
See Derek Walker, number 89, now in at tight end, and on a 4th down and 5, they'll be coming in, and this will be a long field goal attempt. Now, Mike Gillette, if it's 50 yards plus, they like to go to Gillette, and that's what they're doing. This is a 53-yard attempt.
So I make a couple of these in the practice on Thursday.
Moon kicks the shorter one. Gillette from 53 yards. No good. And so, Michigan State kept Michigan in some long yardage situations, eventually able to come up with a football, as the 53-yarder by Gillette was wide of the mark. But on that third down play for Harbaugh, can you pick it up for us?
Right, Gary. It was number 23, Jamie Morris. He'll come right in here and slip right into that seam, but Harbaugh does not see him. Watch him. He's right in the I-back spot. Now watch him slip outside. Now he slips into the secondary. Now turns to his left. Right there, I thought Harbaugh was going to throw him the ball. Wide open, but Harbaugh apparently did not see him.
He ended up completing a 15-yarder. That was short of the first down. Gillette missed the 53-yarder, and Michigan State is very much into this football game with 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter. They inherit the football at the 36-yard line after the missed field goal. Urima's 4 of 6 in this game for 23 yards, all of them going to Bobby Morse. Greg Johnson, and Johnson's going nowhere. You know, it's one thing to say you're going to throw to your wide receivers. It's another thing to make it all come and happen for you.
Look at this tough Michigan defense. I mean, from the ground level here, you'll see a lot of penetration. This is 2 fine, well-coached defensive football teams. And here you see the Michigan side of it. Look at the helmets of Michigan. About 5 guys on Craig Johnson.
Holzheimer along with Messner. Shermer, by the way, is back in at center for Michigan State. Second down, 10, a reverse. It's going to Ingram. Ingram to the 40 and gets out to the 42-yard line. Still be short of the first down. Andy Moeller over to make the stop. But you keep thinking, when are they going to throw to those guys?
You know, it's interesting. They must feel that Michigan is deployed to stop the passing game, and they're trying to establish the run. You got somewhere along the line, you got to go to those two fellas.
Yeah,
get
please
the ball
keep them honest, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you know, that's what DeBow said, though. We can't give up the big play, and they're not allowing that. They're shutting down these two wide receivers. Third down and 3. Urema. And there's the first attempt, but it's out of bounds. Going high was Rison, but he ran out of room. It'll bring up fourth down.
And that's the play, Gary, that they've made hay on. And that time he ran the ball out of bounds. You'll see he's out of bounds on the play, but this is the play they've been so successful with in the previous game. But you'll see here the timing is off just a bit. He tries to get his feet back in here, but he's way out.
And I think Rison is hurt. He is being helped by fellow wide receiver. This Paul Palmer coming after him.
See if Arnold's in there. They blocked him that time.
This time, the punt not as effective. Kolazar has it. And he'll bring it out to the 28-yard line. 37-yard punt. So Montgomery is human. He had been averaging over 53 yards in the first half. Michigan has the lead, and they have the football.
Stadium, and if you're wondering what the seats are like here, I'm with a guy who has been in every one of them. That's right, for the Guinness Book of Records, Jim Mouse sat in 101,701 seats. How long did that take you?
Took me over about 4 days to do it, and wore all 3 pairs of Levi's doing it.
And how long before you sat down again?
It took me about 3 weeks before I sat down for a period of time.
What's your next stunt going to be?
I'm going to be doing the from the Big Ten to the Pac-10. I'm going to do the Rose Bowl this spring.
And after that, what are you going to do?
I'm going to drive from New York to Los Angeles backwards in an American-made car.
This could go on all day. Let's go back to Gary.
Hey, Pat, he's your kind of guy, I can tell. From the 28-yard line now, Michigan has the ball. 5:59 to go in the third quarter. A 10-point lead for the Wolverines. Harbaugh, a little flare pass to Jamie Morris, and Morris is gobbled up close to the 35-yard line. Near the conclusion of today's CBS Sports College football broadcast, Aaron and I will be participating in a 16-year tradition, selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each of the teams. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. So from the 34-yard line, it'll be second down and 5 for Michigan. Kolazar in motion. Here's Jamie Morris. And Morris makes an ordinary play into a big gainer. All the way out to the 45, an 11-yard pickup, and that did not look like it was going to develop into anything.
Didn't, but Jamie waited. He was patient on this thing, and then he splits the seam. He uses his blocker, Perman, number 37, very well. Perman blocks out the belly, out of the play, and there he slips right inside there. Great job of running.
That was Bulla again, who went flying through to get a piece of him to knock him out of bounds. So it's another first down for the Wolverines from the 45. Michigan with receivers wide left and wide right, and the slot to the near side is Kolazar. Wilcher, and Wilcher is going to be dropped for a 2-yard gain. Be second and 8. Let's go back to New York now for an update. Here's Jim Nance, who will losing last week to Arizona State. They'll be out of their race.
That was the first time ever, too, wasn't it?
Yep. Second down now, 8 yards to go. Here's Morris, and Morris runs into a lot of congestion to the 49-yard line. It'll be a third down. Joe Bergen made the stop again. Line of scrimmage at the 49. Talked a lot about Bergen. We've talked about this gritty effort of Michigan State. The real play, though, that's kept them in this game was that third and goal at the 1 where they denied them the touchdown. Michigan had to settle for the field goal, and they kept within 10. That's where we were at halftime, 13-3.
Well, I can see why Bergen was a junior college All-American. He's played exceptionally well.
Put his numbers on a computer, though, and he maybe wasn't that highly sought. He's only 6 foot tall.
Grip split.
Harbaugh to the big guy, Jokic. That'll be a first down. Check that, Ken Higgins. Ken Higgins, and you called it, Coach. Harbaugh read it and got rid of it.
This is a great job by Harbaugh. Harbaugh is the key in this. He's being blitzed. They can't pick up everybody. And he'll hit him right now. Watch this. Watch the blitz on Harbaugh, and he reacts immediately. Bang! Before they get to him, there's the throw, there's the catch. Great job by Higgins, but Harbaugh was the key.
Pinky Higgins, the A-plus student, who had 8 catches a week ago and went up for that one. He looked a lot bigger than 6'2" when he got up in the air that time.
You see, a lot of quarterbacks couldn't have reacted to that situation.
So has so much confidence in Harbaugh. He seemingly reads defenses so well. Pitch off to Wiltshire on the option, and this time Michigan State very alertly gets outside. Todd Crum was over there. Knocked him out of bounds. It'll bring up a second down at the 3:47 mark. Alabama is continuing unbeaten. And Iowa getting ready for their match next week against Michigan. That was the first loss for Indiana, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But boy, that must have been some kind of game, 24-22.
Of course, Bill Mallory's son, Doug Mallory, playing in this game for the Michigan Wolverines. Had another son, Mike, who's now an assistant at Indiana with Bill. Second down, 8 yards to go. Harbaugh, lots of time. Colazar's there, touchdown. The second longest in Wolverine history a year ago, 77 yards against Ohio State. Adds a 42-yarder. And Michigan leads it 19-3. This is Moons on the point after.
Okay, here's how it happened. There's Colasar. He'll come down and he'll fake to the flag and then come right to the post. We got Crum and Bobbitt doesn't break to the ball soon enough, and Harbaugh sees it and really throws it. While you watch Colasar, there he goes. They're in a 3-deep defense. But you see, Bobbitt does not get back fast enough. Even Colasar has to wait for the ball. Crum just misses it. The ball was underthrown just a tad. Colasar really concentrated. Great play.
So John Colasar, who has just been a dynamite receiver for Michigan, a big play performer, comes up with a 42-yard grab, and undefeated Michigan's on a roll. "42-yard connection with Harbaugh," and we're going to look at it, Era, from a defensive standpoint. What happened?
Paul Bobbitt was the safety man right here. And you've got John Miller here as the corner. They're supposed to take each 1/3 of the field. Colasar comes up, then breaks to the post. You'll see Bobbitt hesitate. You'll see what happens. Watch now as Colasar breaks off the line, breaks to the outside, and then comes to the inside right there. And you can see how far Bobbitt is away from Colasar. That's why it happened. And, of course, Miller couldn't catch up with him. And there it is. Colasar does a great job of concentrating on that ball. That's great.
So Harbaugh, with the touchdown strike, has just gotten stronger as the game's worn on. He had, 88 yards at half, and he's come into the second half, now has 177, 12 of 20 passing.
What really impresses me, Gary, is the fact that he can get his team out of trouble on third down plays, 3rd and long. He makes the key play.
Here's Ingram going to return the kickoff. And Ingram really bucks it as he comes to 27. You mentioned at halftime, Harry, you could not get over the hitting that's been going on in this football game. That's Alan Bishop, number 10, credited with that stop.
Boy, really, that was a fine tackle. And this is a clean football game. Watch this. Bishop comes right in there. Boy, that's picture book stuff there on kickoff. Great. Remember.
Michigan State in the catch-up posture. See, Rison is in the game, so they have both Rison and Ingram ready to go.
They're going to the three-back attack, I think.
20-3, Michigan to the lead. Urema scrambling out. There's Rison. Nope, he trapped it. That will not count. Rison trapped the ball. I didn't know if Rison would be able to continue after sustaining that injury on the near sideline, but he looked okay on that play.
Yeah, it seems to be all right. There's 3.5 minutes roughly to go in this quarter, and that's 18 minutes. Plenty of time.
Especially when you have guys like Rison and Ingram.
Well, last week when they were in this kind of a situation against Iowa, they went to the three receivers with Boyer coming into the ball game, and Iowa had a tough time trying to stop it.
Second down 10 from the 27. 3:28 left in the third quarter. That's Morse in motion. Urema hits the tight end. Kusevich, and Kusevich very close to the first down across the 35 to the 37-yard line.
Kusevich waited until Morris passed him as a receiver. Then he came underneath all of the linebackers and picked up good yardage.
A yard short of the first down, a pickup of 9. It'll be third down coming up. Kusevich comes out of the game now. Sargent replaces him at tight end. So from the 37, the Spartans need this one. They have not converted any third downs. They're 0 of 7. Here's Johnson. They're going to get this one. He gets to the 40, and so Michigan State will keep the football. Mark Messner made the stop for the Wolverines.
Messner did a great job on that play. You see from this high angle here where he came from. The down lineman. There he is right there. Whoa, he wards off the block right there. Wards off a block and makes the play. Otherwise, Johnson's going to go for bigger yardage.
Yeah, he had 2 blocks further up the field for it. Urema back, first down throw, and there he is, Rison. And you wonder why they've waited so long to do this.
This is what we've been talking about the whole game. We've seen it now. They're coming out with it now.
24 yards on the play.
You see he's wide open. He runs a beautiful route in front of the deep secondary, zoning off, not getting the big play, and in front of the linebackers right there. You see Eric Campbell, number 5, coming up to recover. Mallory, number 8, I guess got a piece of him. You see how much deeper he is than the linebackers. And, of course, the deep secondary in front of them. The deep people are not going to give any cheap score. But they're going to give up something in between.
They gave up 24 at that time. Urema again. And he over the middle again. This is the tight end, Sargent this time. And Sargent has another first down. It always amazes me, Eric, that you can stop somebody defensively, then you start to decide you're not going to give the big play, and everything opens up underneath.
You know, it's amazing because they're trying to protect the lead. You got a little cushion going for you, and you don't want to give anything cheap. And the other team's got to make something happen, and that's exactly what the Spartans are doing, making something happen.
They're looking the best they've looked. Kusevich comes in. Sargent checks out at tight end. Rison to the near side. To the top of the screen goes Ingram. First down at the 25. There it is again, Johnson. Johnson picking up yardage, almost 5 yards. Dieter Herron drops him there.
And the difference on this drive and on the previous ones is the Wolverines are not getting the pressure on Urema. He's getting pretty good protection.
He's throwing that ball a little quicker, too, Era, hitting those guys inside the tight end. Seemingly has opened up his offensive game. Kusevich checks out. Sargent comes in. They're extending the plays through the tight end. That's what he has done in the second half. 5 of 7, 56 yards.
Mostly on this drive.
Pressure from Messner. And Morse can't stay in with the ball. And Urema took a real shot that time. Mark Messner up in his face. Helped him to his feet. And he hurried that one up.
Yeah, he came within an eyelash of getting sacked that time. You see Morris goes in motion and goes out into the left flat right here. And watch Urema get pressure right here. He almost gets sacked. You can't see it right there. And Morris, the ball is thrown just off the fingertips of Morris. It would have been a first down.
It's a little testy throw, though, because Peter Heron is over there in pretty good position. 3rd and 5. The blitz. Urema runs away from it and can't make the connection. Michigan with real pressure up the middle.
Looked like Messner.
Set up.
I think Messner was in there doing the job on him. Urema did a good job of scrambling right here and forcing it. Right there he is making the play on Urema. And he throws the ball off balance. Almost a great... Oh, he could have caught that ball. It's been a tough catch, obviously.
Era, that was Andy Moeller who came up the middle on the blitz. Made that diving attempt that had to chase Urema out of the pocket. Flushed him out. As you mentioned, Rison had a crack at it, and they're going to go for a field goal.
Let's see, with 55 seconds, we put him within 14 points.
Be a 37-yard attempt. Pete Risco will hold number 16. Caudell, who hit a 28-yarder earlier, and he hits another one. So Caudell is 2 of 2 today. Michigan State gets on the scoreboard in the second half. It's now Michigan 20, Michigan State 6, and the Spartans and Urema haven't given up. But one very special guest, a Heisman Trophy winner. He's with Pat O'Brien.
Thank you, Gary. Special indeed. Pete Dawkins, who won the Heisman in 1958. You're celebrating a special day today, your very first collegiate touchdown against Michigan. Tell me about it. You remember it?
Pat, 30 years ago, almost to today, we were losing to Michigan. I was a young sophomore running back. Got in here in my home state and scored my first collegiate football touchdown. It was a real thrill.
You got any memories of Ara Parsegan? He's up there in the booth.
Oh, yes. I have memories not only of Era, but I've been coming to this stadium for 40 years. Being a native Michigan kid, I grew up watching Chappius and Dufek and the Elliott brothers, and this is one of the great spectacles of the nation. And
Pete, what are you doing now,
I was going to say in the Michigan State game, which is one of the great rivalries.
Bring us up to date. What are you doing now, Pete?
Well, I'm now at Wall Street and working with the Schiff and Lehman brothers, trying to help people raise capital and make this economy move ahead.
The general, huh? You retired as a general?
Retired as a general. Had 24 years in the Army. Proud of every day of it.
Well, you look great. Thanks for joining us down here.
Pat. Good to be here.
Let's go back upstairs.
Tell you what, Era, I think he could still play. He looks in great shape. He played for you, didn't he, in the North-South game?
1958. My mother-in-law just loved him.
Here's the kickoff, bounding short. Picked up by Holloway, and he'll get out close to the 30-yard line. So Michigan with a 20-6 lead, and you wonder at this stage how conservative Bo will be, or if he'll continue to let Harbaugh just open it up and keep things going.
Well, they can't change their game plan. You get conservative in the ball game, you're going to get beat. There's a lot of time. By the same token, you don't want to make a major error in your own territory. They have moved the ball effectively, and I trust they're just going to stay right with their game plan, Gary.
Harbaugh, 12 of 20, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had thrown only 1 interception in 11 games prior to today. Shows you how well he protects the football. Golazar in motion. Flying through there is Wilcher. Wilcher across the 35 to the 37-yard line. With 33 seconds to go here at sold-out Michigan Stadium in the 79th renewal of this tradition, Michigan is leading Michigan State 20-6. Let's update you on how it's developed up to this point. Moons with a 33-yard field goal made it the Wolverines 3-0. And then Harbaugh on a broken play, a 1-yard keeper made it 10-0. Michigan State's Caudell came back to hit a 28-yard field goal, 10-3, and we'll pick up the rest of the scoring in just a moment. Second down, 3 yards to go. Harbaugh getting off, good fake that time. Wilcher carrying for the first down. So after it was 13-3, Moons came back with a 19-yard field goal. Second quarter with 2 minutes to go, and then Harbaugh, the big play of the game, 42-yard pass to John Colazar, made it 20-3. Caudell, with 50 seconds left in this quarter that just expired, hit a 37-yarder, and that's where we are right now. So 15 minutes left to play. Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines looking for their 5th win in as many outers. Sponsored by Michelob Light, super premium taste and less filling beer. The people of Rockwell International, where science gets down to business. And by Radio Shack, a division of Tandy Corporation. We began the fourth quarter. 15 minutes to go in this game. Michigan has it first down at their own 42-yard line with a 20-6 lead. Jim Harbaugh going to his favorite man again, Colazar. Colazar has a catch to the 22, a gain of 35.
Flip the seam again. Here, ground level here. The split backfield from the wishbone. The Colazar runs past the cornerback, and the deep defender, I think it's Bobbitt again. 35 is Trump. No, that's Altobelli. Can't get to him. And the ball's right on the mark.
3 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Colazar might be the player of the week in the Big Ten.
He won that Ohio State game a year ago with that 77-yarder in the fourth period.
22-yard line, first down for Michigan. Harbaugh straight ahead to Bob Perriman. We should document the fact that Michigan again got through the third quarter without giving up a touchdown. They have not allowed one all year long, only 2 field goals.
Well, Gary Moeller, their defensive coordinator, said yesterday that he had hopes of this football team being as good as last year's by the tail end of the year. Now, that's pretty doggone good because they were an awesome group.
George Perlis said that they may never be that good again, but Moeller doesn't agree with that, huh? He was so impressed with their defense a year ago, allowing only 8.1 points a game. On a second down and 7. Pretty good hit on Jamie Morris. The hitting has continued at the pace you would expect with this bitter rivalry. That was Altobelli over there that was able to knock him out of bounds. Watch this from ground level. Show you some of the hitting in this game.
Well, I'm so impressed with this game. Cleanly played. The contact is just great. There's Altobelli, number 13, once again. He's the hitter. Each game that we have done, Michigan State, he's come up with a big hit. An academic All-American.
He was the hitter, and Morris was the hittee, huh? He really got belted on that one. Third down, a yard to go. From the wishbone, and Harbaugh wants a timeout.
Apparently didn't like what he saw.
That gives Michigan 2 left. So the Wolverines will talk it over at the 20-6 lead. See, again, Ara, we're just talking how good this Michigan team is. They have a dimension that not very many Bo Schembechler teams have, and that's a big play possibility.
Right, they can really, Harbaugh can really throw the ball, and they've got great receivers, and Bo is willing to put it up.
Third down, a yard to go. From the wishbone, Harbaugh has called the timeout. On the option, he keeps it, and he's got a first and goal.
Nice execution of the triple option. Could have given the ball to the fullback that time, but he elected to keep it. Found the daylight. Well executed. Look at it here from the end zone. He could have given the ball to the fullback. You see him hit that seam. Look at the daylight here. He steps inside of Crum 35. And that time, the Spartans didn't defense it quite as well as they did at the goal line earlier in the game.
You know, it's so interesting to me. Harbaugh able to run that kind of a game, an option game, and still drop back in the pocket and throw.
That's a good point, Gary. Shows the versatility.
First and goal now from the 7. From the bone again. Harbaugh with a double fake. Inside touchdown. That's Jeff Brown. so the second largest crowd in Michigan Stadium history sees Moon at the point after and give fourth-ranked Michigan a 27-6 lead.
Both ends were open. The fake was so good by Harbaugh on the inside. As these men break out, you'll see it holds everyone, and he could have thrown to either one of the ends. Both of them. Brown breaks out right here. You see right there, and Walker is there. He could have thrown the ball to either one of the receivers for the touchdown.
Well, it's an exciting moment for number 80. Sophomore Jeff Brown catching the first touchdown pass of his collegiate career. Brown out of Shaker Heights, Ohio, nestles it, goes down with it, and Michigan, they're on a roll. They're playing so effectively, leading 27-6. 7-6. 10th-ranked Iowa defeating Wisconsin, and that means those two juggernauts will meet next week here on CBS, 2:30 Eastern. The Iowa Hawkeyes against Michigan, and I was just asking you, I said, I don't know how good Iowa is. You saw them last week, Era, but they better be pretty good because this Michigan team ain't bad.
And I said they're pretty good.
Boy, what a game that's going to be.
It is going to be a heck of a ball game.
Gillette will be kicking off for Michigan. It's going to be Johnson. Well, he collides with his teammate Ingram. Johnson comes out of there and up to the 35 to the 37-yard line. Well, how are the rest of the top 10 doing today? Let's go to New York. Here's Jim Nance. Classic, that Oklahoma-Texas game, and right now it's a long afternoon for Fred Akers. Here's Urema. Comes out throwing to Sargent to tight end. Sargent to the 42-yard line. Dieter Herron over to make the stop.
Well, Gary Moeller said he'd give him a lot of those, and I'm sure that he will, considering he's got a 27-6 lead. It'll take a long time to score touchdowns with the short passes.
Michigan State last year got off to 2-4 starts, and they won their last 5. They will be favored, I would assume, the remaining of their schedule. Well, so they could still have a very good year. Could finish at 8-3.
They could. They've got. Oh, here we go.
Here comes Johnson. Johnson on a 2nd and 4, very close to the first down across the 45. Garland Rivers over to make the stop. I know they'd like to have Lorenzo White, but Johnson's acquitted himself well today.
Yeah, he has, and I think they do have two fine running backs there. They just have met this afternoon a very strong Michigan defensive team that's improving, I believe.
That's 76 yards on the afternoon for Johnson. That was the first down.
You know, Michigan has allowed 137 yards to the Spartan team for 3 quarters, which I think is an outstanding performance.
First down. Urema with time, and Sargent again. And the tight end is all the way inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. Rivers again making the stop. Sargent out of Flint. In fact, if you look at Sargent, Risen, and Ingram all come from Flint, Michigan.
You see right there, number 49 slow blocks, checks, then goes. Gets right in the seam between the linebackers. McIntyre didn't see him, had his back to him. Number 54 there.
And so Sargent takes it to the 32, a 20-yard pickup. Urema now with 98 yards on the day, 10 of 16. Joe Pugh has now come in at fullback. He's in motion for Michigan State. Urema looking to him. Oh, and just ran out of room. All right, for another update, here's Jim Nance.
All right, Gary, finishing up those top 10 scores. Auburn's first road game of the season, they win it with ease.
Jim had an interview with Ted Tollner at half. I don't think Ted expected that. I tell you, though, Washington State did tie Arizona State earlier this year. And always seemingly mess up somebody. Here is a pass completion to Willie Boyer. That's the first attempt towards Boyer, and Boyer has a 16-yard gain to the 17-yard line.
There's Boyer right here, and he comes down, gets right in the seam, and gets a good throw from Urema. They're most effective, I think, the Michigan State Spartans with the 3 wideouts in the ball game. And that's what they have. They've got greater speed with 3 receivers to really confuse the defensive secondary. Last week against Iowa, they scored a touchdown and almost scored the second touchdown in the 4th period to bail the game out.
You can see 12 minutes left in this game. Michigan State moving quickly. Here's Johnson. Johnson to the 10. He could see the goal line, but all of a sudden he was tripped up. He makes it to the 10, and it's still going to be 3 yards short of a 1st and goal.
Well, it was obvious that the Wolverines were deployed to stop the pass, anticipating a pass, and you'll see they get good blocking. Messner is blocked there. Look at the hole that Johnson has to run through. And 49 Moeller finally trips him up.
2nd down, 4. They can go to the 6 for a 1st and goal. Pitch to Johnson again, and this time very little operating room. He makes it to the 10, and that's all.
That was Moeller that time. Again, he wasn't going to say, you're not going to do it to me twice.
With 11:10 to go, time starting to run out on George Perlis and the Michigan State Spartans, who won here 2 years ago, 19-7, find themselves trailing 27-6. You almost got the feeling that Michigan, as long as they can just keep the ball away from Michigan State, they're all right, because Michigan State can score points. They really move the football.
Not only that, you won't see that team quit out there. They're going to give you 100%, I mean, for 60 minutes. Both teams, for that matter.
3rd down, 4. Sargent in motion. End zone, touchdown, Ingram. There is a penalty flag, however, at the 10-yard line. So let's see if this will hold.
They're down there trying to sort it out, the officials. I guess they're not sure. Well, now they know. The illegal receiver down the field. Oh, boy.
I don't know how that happened in that. It's not that much distance.
No, because
the play didn't develop that slowly.
Yeah, let's see if we can pick it up here. Who was downfield? There's the lineman. Let's see. It's a pocket pass. I'll tell you, I'll bet you what happened. Run it back if we may. I believe that the wide man was up on the line and the tight end did not move back to make 2 eligible. Let's take a look at that.
Because there didn't seem to be anybody past the
right
line
here.
of
You see, they're both on the line of scrimmage, which makes him ineligible.
That's it, Coach. You picked it up. Because there was nobody down the field like an offensive lineman.
Right.
Well, now it's going to go to a 3rd down and 9. Urema fumbled the ball. Folksema was in on the play. Dave Folksema, a junior out of Grand Rapids. Fouling on the ball was Hill, so to bring up a 4th down.
There's the pressure, you see. Number 93, Folksema, right there, as the first man shakes the ball out. And fortunately, they get it back. They're going to go for it on 4th down here.
They sure are. 4th down, 17 from the 23-yard line. And to the backside, that's Messner again.
Best pass defense in the world, as you see right there.
Messner's played such a strong game. They were saying he wasn't making big plays, but he's made them today.
He sure has.
So from the 33, Michigan will have it. 9:42 left in the game. Harbaugh off to Jamie Morris. Flag on the play as Morris is tackled at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, called the clip on it.
Well, you know, these 3 weeks, including next week, Era, were billed as a round robin. Started with Iowa, Michigan State. Iowa beating Michigan State. Round 2, these two clubs. The next week, Iowa and Michigan.
And we may be seeing the Big Ten champion in that grouping.
Go back to that fourth down play a moment ago.
Well, you can see the great pass rush that the Wolverines get on Urema. I still think that Urema should have had the presence to go ahead and throw the football. Get rid of it. Throw it to anybody. Throw it down the field, even if it's intercepted, because you have no chance this way. The other way, you might get a bobble, a deflected pass, a touchdown out of it. That way, he came up empty.
Shane Bola went limping off the field, their middle linebacker, so he is out of the game right now.
Looking at it from a defensive standpoint, you'll see that both of the wideouts were exceptionally well covered on that play. By the same token, Urema may have been a little gun-shy from a week ago when he threw the interception. You can see they're covered, but I would coach my quarterback to go ahead. You can see right there how well covered they are, and you see all of these linebackers there. And I would instruct my quarterback to throw the football on fourth down under those circumstances.
We had a clipping called against Michigan on this previous play, so it's going to make it 1st and 24, backing up inside the 20. I think kids forget sometimes that it is a fourth down when they're backpedaling like that. Here is Harbaugh, and McMurtry almost penalty flag. Dean Altobelli may have a pass interference. McMurtry, the intended receiver.
Get another look at that. Another great throw by Harbaugh. Altobelli is the coverage man, number 13, that comes over. Here's Harbaugh delivering the ball. You see Altobelli come right here. Let's see if contact is made before.
Yep, sure is. McMurtry's quite a story, isn't he? He is the #1 draft pick of the Boston Red Sox. He elected to instead play here at the University of Michigan. Turned over, what, $200,000 he could have signed for with the Red Sox.
It really is an amazing story. I mean, he loves to play football. He's certainly a great baseball prospect. And how many kids would do that, Jerry?
I don't know. But his dad and mother were very strong in their position that they wanted their son to get a college education. So he's here, and he has tremendous potential. You're going to hear a lot about him. He's got Anthony Carter's old #1.
Yeah.
And I imagine he'll make a name for himself in that before it's all over. Here's Jamie Morris. And Morris out to the 39. Now, Arizona is unbeaten. UCLA losing last week to Arizona State. I don't think they can afford to lose that and still expect to make it to the Rose Bowl.
Made a comeback thus far.
Yep. Now, Arizona State against Oregon. That's a dangerous game up in Oregon. But this is the one that really surprised me. Bill Curry's team got their offense on track. And Boston College has been struggling.
Oh, my. Rick LaCivita's Harvard.
Yep. You weren't supposed to make that. Only when they win.
Wow. They had a little comment in the news about that yesterday.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
2nd down 4. He's a famous man. Here's Morris. Morris is not going to get the first down. Well, we were telling you, Arizona, UCLA, how big it is. Here's Jim Nantz to update it. Good time, though.
Yeah. That'd be quite a comeback. They were behind 18-0, weren't they?
They sure were. Arizona has a new offensive coordinator this year. They've been scoring a lot more points. Shane Bola is back in the ballgame now for Michigan State. From the wishbone on a 3rd down, a long yard, almost 2. Harbaugh pitches to White. And Michigan State is there in force. And a flag thrown, and they had no less than 6 people on top of White on that particular play.
You know, that has to be sparing.
Or unnecessary roughness.
Well, unnecessary, yeah.
Army defeating Tennessee.
Well.
That's who Alabama will be playing next week.
There's another surprise, too. I thought Kentucky would play better.
Yeah. Well, it's penalties against Michigan. Holding. White probably wondered who was holding because they didn't have an awful lot of blocking on that play.
The only one was the ball carrier over there.
Illinois, like George was playing again for Purdue today, even though he was hurt a week ago. Colorado finally winning a game. Boy, they've lost some tough ones this year. They were 0-4 at that particular stage of the season. As Bill McCartney lost some tough games. He lost to that Arizona team. Arizona came from behind to defeat him. Opened up with a loss against Colorado State. Todd Crum goes back now for this punt from Monty Robbins. 7:20 left in the game. 27-6 Michigan. Starting to get a little darker here as the clouds starting to envelop the stadium. Here's Crum on the run. Knocked out of bounds at the 24. Michigan State will have it. 40-yard punt. 7-11 are going to have a big day in catching the football. Only 2 of Urima's 11 completions today, Coach, have gone to wide receivers. And that's obviously not on form for Michigan State.
See, Mike Sargent, 6'1", 233, a great possession receiver. And you want to have the big plays, you got to go to Ingram, and you've got to go to Rison.
Sargent's been open all day, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, underneath those little short ones, you know.
He's 4 for 44. He had 5 catches coming into the day. Urima back. This is Pugh, and Pugh will not catch that one. What a hit by Dieter Heron. Heron's played a great game today for this Michigan team.
He's a steady football player, and he's like their wolf man. Even though he's an outside backer, he's a very versatile athlete, can play a lot of different positions. There he had dropped off to cover the flat and then responded to the ball very well.
They have their own terminology here. They have the wolf back, the rover back, the zip linebacker, the Mike linebacker, the Fox linebacker. So when they go to the film room, they know who they're talking about.
You got to be an MIT guy to understand the defense.
3rd down, 4. Pugh in motion. Urima gets it off to Johnson, and Johnson in the open field to the 49, and he threw that one in some traffic and pulled it off. 19-yard pickup. Ivan Hicks eventually made the tackle. And so we're going to take many of you to New York, where Jim Nantz will set the scene for the Arizona-UCLA game. Those of you leaving us will be kept up to date on the score of our Michigan State game. And so it's a 1st down for Michigan State from the 48-yard line as Craig Johnson carrying checks that. New man is checked into the lineup now for Michigan State for the first time. That's Ezor, Blake Ezor. He is a freshman out of Las Vegas. Interesting story is his dad was a very good friend of George Perlis's. When George was with the Steelers, they used to stop out in the Las Vegas area, and they got to know each other very well.
He's really high on that youngster. He missed most of the preseason because he had mononucleosis, but he's back and healthy now.
The 49-yard line. 2nd down, now 8 yards to go. Johnson is checked back into the game. Urima's going to be dropped again. That is Fulkersma, and he's played a whale of a game. That's the 4th sack. And this Michigan defense, Mulder must have known what he's talking about. They have played better and better as the day has worn on, and I guess by the standard of last year, everything paled by comparison, Era.
Yeah, really, that's true. And they'd given up a lot of yardage through the air, but certainly Gary had a great game plan here, and the team has executed it well, particularly the pressure they've put on Urima.
In Oregon State, their quarterback attempted 69 passes against Michigan earlier this year. So they've been in that catch-up posture, and some of those statistics are misleading. Urima dumped as he gets rid of it. He was blasted that time. Brent White, 88, was there. John Willingham, 39.
Well, they really are getting the heat on him. He's had a tough day.
So, on 4th down and 19, Urima will retreat to the sideline with 139 yards passing for the day. Montgomery will boot this ball. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. Oh, he hit another one, didn't he? Here's Kolazar. He's going to let it hit, go into the end zone for the touchback. So Michigan will have a 60-yard punt. Montgomery may be leading the nation after this one. Paul and Kolazar for he and his Michigan State teammates.
Well, that's a great shot, isn't it? And there's some kind of coach. Bo Schembechler.
201 today. Yeah, new quarterback now, Chris Zurbrugg, has checked in, the senior out of Alliance, Ohio. He started some games in the past, the year that Harbaugh broke his arm. See the time left in the game. On the option comes Zurbrugg, and he's got a first down out to the 32-yard line. Zurbrugg started in '84, 5 games. He threw 4 touchdowns in a Purdue contest. That was a 13-yard pickup. Prior to this game, he'd only thrown the ball 4 times. So it's been Harbaugh most of the way, and so Jim will rest up and get ready for that Iowa game next week. 4:24 left in this one. Last year, it was Michigan winning 31-0, scoring 14 points in the first 4 minutes. State hung in there tough, trailed at halftime 13-3, but eventually Harbaugh was just too much. This is Wilcher, and Wilcher will make it out to the 35-yard line.
You can still hear the contact up here with 4 minutes left to go.
There is the junior college transfer, Joe Bergen, out of Elmhurst. Some very good plays, especially early in the first half. Look at this. UCLA has scored again. So Terry Donahue's team was backed into a corner now, also converting a 2-pointer to take a 24-18 lead. So the Bruins evidently gotten their offense back.
Well, that's quite a comeback.
They had only 9 points last week against Arizona State. And Zurbrugg with a man draped on him throws the interception. Interception by Rod Stradley, and Stradley will set it up for his teammates at about the 40-yard line. That ball, I don't know who he was throwing that one to.
I don't either. I think maybe the linebackers.
Tomorrow it's the NFL on CBS. The undefeated Redskins with the Cowboys. Some of you may see Buddy Ryan bring his 46 defense and the Eagles to the Meadowlands to take on the Giants. And it all begins with the NFL today. Michigan State, so the alternate quarterbacks come in. 3.5 minutes left in the game. Gallister started the Michigan game last year. Going deep to Rison. Very well covered that time by Alan Bishop. Gallister, you might recall, had played extremely well against Iowa and then came into this Michigan game, and Michigan came after him blitzing, and he had a long afternoon.
Like Zurbrugg, who was pressed into service 2 years ago when Harbaugh went down. McAllister was pressed in last year when Urema was hurt.
There's the coach's son we were talking about, Shane Bullock. His daddy, the Buffalo Bills, and their new quarterback, Jim Kelly, starting to create some waves. McAllister, and that turnabout fair play. The interception going the other way. That's McIntyre. Andre McIntyre picking it off. He had an interception last year against Michigan State.
That's right. He stepped in there at the right time. I don't know, probably McAllister and Zurbrugg weren't warmed up. They're completing it to the wrong guys.
Maybe they're colorblind. They can't pick out those jerseys. I don't know, but that's 2 throws that they'd like to have back. I'll tell you that.
Well, let's see if they get another one back here. I'll bet you both told Zurbrugg to just keep it on the ground.
Yeah, all right. Hey. So, from the 30-yard line, Michigan will set it up. What an impressive win this has been. If you look at Michigan this year, they started out, they beat Notre Dame by 1, Oregon State easily, then Florida State by only 2. And last week against Wisconsin had a pretty easy time of it. So this has got to go right along with one of their most impressive wins of the year. They have dominated this one. There's Zurbrugg trying to pitch. Kurt Larson is there. And Larson, a one-man wrecking team there.
We called that one, didn't we? All we thought was going to be an interception. No, I think the thing that came through in our 2 days here, Gary, is we'll get right as we look at this. You'll see Larson, number 3, really put the heat on Zurbrugg right there before he can throw it. Look at that. Great job by Larson. At any rate, the thing that came through to me yesterday in talking to Bo and Gary Moeller was that this Michigan team was improving on a game-to-game basis, and certainly that's been evidenced here this afternoon.
Well, it's been a tough couple of weeks for Michigan State. Iowa, now here against Michigan is Pugh. who started last week against Iowa, freshman out of Grand Rapids, is dropped just short of the 15-yard line. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 4. I want to thank our spotters Tom Denon and Bob Brennan, our statistician Roger Riley for their very able assistance in this broadcast booth. And Era, I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it, Gary. It's been fun working with you again. You're going back to the pros again tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I've got a game tomorrow. Just short of the 15-yard line now. 2nd down and 4. Sargent in motion. McAllister pitching off to Ezor, and his team smelled it. Fumble recovery goes to Michigan, and the hitting has just been ferocious. Who is that guy getting out of there?
There's the pitch out. Contact fumble right there.
That's Mike Teeter. He's a freshman nose guard.
Well, he did a good job putting that helmet in there.
He is a true freshman, not a redshirt freshman, out of Fruitport, Michigan, and he's been backing up Billy Harris at that nose guard spot. Total yards in this game, Michigan with 366, Michigan State with 196. Understand there's been an upset in the Southwest Conference, so we'll be going to New York to get that as Wiltshire carries straight ahead. Let's find out about that Arkansas-Texas Tech game. Here's Jim Nance.
All right, Gary, it has to be classified as the upset of...
Michigan has it now on a 2nd down 5 from the 22-yard line. A lot of substitutes now checking into the ball game. That time carrying the ball was Webb, the tailback, straight ahead. Okay, the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Jim Harbaugh, the quarterback for Michigan, 14 of 22, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. And for Michigan State, Shane Bulla with 8 solo tackles, 3 assists. The middle linebacker for the Spartans, and a check on the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each school's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. So with 1:30 to go, Michigan with a lot of their alternate people in the game. Ernie Holloway, who's been returning some kickoffs, carries it on that particular play.
You know, Gary, a cute quote by Woody Hayes. He said, "My wife says her 3 favorite men are Cary Grant, Thomas Jefferson, and Bo Schembechler." And Bo replied, he says, "Yeah, she said that to me too." He says, "But I'm a distant third."
Bo looks great, doesn't he? He lost about 30 pounds. He won a bet. He bet some guy could lose it, and he bet that if he had won it, he'd get a 1926 refurbished fire engine. And he got it, and the reason it was so important to him, his dad was a fire chief. I wasn't aware of that until I was talking to him.
Barberton, Ohio.
Yep. There's Webb again, carrying straight ahead as the last seconds ticking away. Frustrating afternoon for Michigan State, but a very impressive win for the Wolverines of Michigan. They will move to 5-0 on the season. Certainly won't lose any of their position in the rankings.
May enhance it.
Yep.
It was quite a performance. This man has done a fine job over at Michigan State. George Perlis. I know he's disappointed with the outcome of this game, but his team plays hard, and that's all you can ask for.
So this may be the last snap of the game. And will be, as time expiring. The final score here is Michigan 27, Michigan State 6. Let's go down to Pat O'Brien.
Well, congratulations. Yesterday you told us that your defense needed a big day. I guess you're happy with that.
Well, we put a lot of pressure on him. We hadn't been doing that all year. And I thought our staff did a great job. Our defensive team played extremely well. Put a lot of heat on him, and it was tough for him to throw.
What about the combination of Harbaugh and Colasar?
Well, that's been good for us for the last couple of years. We made some big plays. We didn't play really that well offensively, but we played well enough.
All right, congratulations on win 201, Bo. Let's go back to Gary.
Okay, Pat, thank you. We'll be right back after this message and a word from your local station.